Our new partner who I'm really, really excited to announce we are working with. Super, super stoked. Thank you, Angie Huberman, for this connect. It's incredible. AG1 Athletic Greens. I've been using them for a while. I have them every morning on an empty stomach. Basically take 1 scoop and you put it into a cup or glass or mug of 8 ounces of cold water. And this is all your greens for the day. You're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Every day I take this. It's so good for my digestion, my energy. It's simple, it's easy. I don't like taking a lot of vitamins, so this has been really, really helpful for me. I've had a lot of stomach issues my whole life, and ever since I've been gluten-free and taking the AG1s, it's really helped me in my stomach in the mornings. I love it, and I'm so psyched that they're part of the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm sure a lot of people don't like eating greens, let alone drinking your greens, but I can tell you straight up, it's got a mild tropical taste, and the taste is actually really refreshing, and I really look forward to it each morning. Don't think it's just going to be just straight bland. It tastes really, really good, and it's good for you, so remember that. This one blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's incredible, just 1 scoop, especially for musicians who are vegans or just musicians in general who want to get those daily greens. You can get the packets. It's incredible. I just gave some to my friend Derek from Sepultura. He traveled the whole entire world this summer, and he had those every single day. He said it saved him. I bring AG1s with me when I travel. It helps me stay healthy. You know the deal. If you're on tour and you are a picky eater, but you need to have your greens, sometimes catering doesn't have greens. Sometimes you miss the catering. Sometimes you miss the backstage food. Sometimes it's too late after the show to go get food that you like. So if you just have a scoop of AG1s in your hotel room before you go to bed, or you're in the hotel room at night and you're starving, you want something healthy, boom, life changer. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with some convenient daily nutrition. That's all you need, 1 scoop in a cup every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. This is it. I'm super psyched. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. This is incredible. I love it. It's just basic greens. For me personally, this has changed my life tremendously. I'm not a junk food vegan. I don't eat a lot of fake meats, so I'm strictly greens. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful new addition to my life. So once again, visit drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Get 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. And if you want to get water, Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for merchandise and other things that's not water, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Fucking radio show.
Yes, I did.
Dude, of course he's going to sound good.
Did I have you on the radio show?
I got tattooed at your radio show
on
at 6 in the
Tuesday?
morning by Juan Puente. A portrait of my son. I'm going to talk about it. It's on my
Really?
list. Yeah, dude. Okay. 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning.
All right, this is it. Hang out.
That was the best part of the radio show.
That was super sick.
Tattooing people.
At 5 in the morning. Max, you have to get out if you're going to talk because I'm about to go live, okay? Yeah, no, but don't just.
Why can't Max talk?
Well, just he has to talk on the mic. Otherwise, my editor's going to freak out.
Annoying.
You
just hear like
your editor
in the background.
Hey,
he just broke it. He just broke your on air.
I'm not. I am recording right now. I'm going to leave this shit in here.
He broke your on air sign just to let you know.
Max, please get out my DIY podcast. Please leave here.
Toby Morse is on air.
This is the number 1 podcast on Pico.
That's nice.
Okay, Max, kick rocks. Go get better. Go rest in the room and drink your water.
Max, it's good to
Close
see
the
you.
door too, man.
I've always
Keep
been a big
cold
fan
air
of
in.
you, Max.
Close that door, man. Come on.
Dude, this is such a great intro.
Max when he was a baby.
I know, dude.
I did.
This motherfucker's been around. Shut the door, man.
Shut it, man.
But Max, you hear still the barking.
Remember, he used to he wanted to see who did he like?
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Justin Bieber.
Yes.
the
Yes.
Biebs.
And Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes,
You made
he
that
used
happen.
to come.
Yes.
He used to like to come to the show.
Dude, we're already
So
recording-
respectful, such a good kid. All the phases of Mac's life, and this one seems to be the craziest of the phases. The little I've gathered since I've been here, but always, I mean, he brightened up when he saw me. Hey, and that made my day.
Thank you, man.
Really
Well,
did.
we need to do the intro now because we're already talking.
Yeah.
Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I got my brother, Mr. Derek Green, next to me. Thank you for being here, Derek.
What's up? What's up? How you doing,
feel
man?
I think moving forward, we don't have to be so close to the mic because your voice is so powerful.
Oh, what are you saying? So
I
back
know.
up the
yeah,
mic
it's a
now?
little bit, yeah, because your voice is so amazing. Let me hear now.
Hello, hello.
No, I get a little closer. You sound good, though.
Oh, come on,
You're
man.
such a voice and face for radio.
What do you do for your voice?
It's just naturally this way.
No, naturally, but do you
Yeah.
do anything? Do you take care of it in any way?
I don't drink alcohol. That helps
Yeah,
a lot because
that
that
does. That
shrinks
dries
your-
it up,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it shrinks your vocal
Me
cords.
too. I'm
but,
there too.
But tea is nice, every now and then.
Dicky loves tea. He
Yeah.
asked me just for some black tea. Let me introduce Dicky first, okay?
Yeah,
Because
yes.
we're getting crazy.
Please, yeah.
Okay. My guest today is a friend for many, many, many years. This guy taught me so much about being in a band. It took my band on a tour, getting into all that.
Wow.
And a great fucking human, a big part of my life. We have matching band tats. Mr. Dicky Barrett, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
My pleasure, Toby. It's great to see you. We've been threatening each other to do this for years. This has been looming for a long time since you started.
4.5 years ago, yeah, man.
I think you called me after your first one. I started
Probably.
a podcast. And I go, well, let's get some legs first.
No, I appreciate that.
Just
Well, I mean, I was just looking the
I'm
other
just
day.
kidding. Who the hell am I?
But Tim Armstrong was my 6th episode.
Really?
And like the only interview was done in 20 years, and I'm really proud of that. But that was like the 6th one.
Yeah,
He texted me
I heard
yesterday
that,
about
and I said I'm not going to be your 7th.
it. He was the first non-family member on the podcast.
Nice.
Well,
This is kind of a thrill, though, too, with Derek here.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Thank
Mr.
you. I
Green,
appreciate
yeah,
that,
man.
man.
this is some
Mad
powerful
respect.
punk rock right now.
two different
Let's do
worlds.
it.
I'm
do
trying to figure out how I met you, but I do remember this moment where H2O played the Wetlands.
That's where we met. That's
and-
exactly
and
where
he
we
I was
met.
going to ask that.
And he had come to the show. I didn't really know him, but he had come to the show, seen us play. I don't know what show it was. And that following Monday, we got a call from somebody saying that Dicky was at the show. He liked the band. He'd like to give us some shows.
Wow.
I
What
came
year
to
was
the
that?
show because I ran into Freddie on the street.
Freddie Madball?
Yes.
Yeah, they played, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that, or Freddie said, you got to check out this band H2O.
Oh.
Thank you,
And
Freddie.
I said,
Shout out to Freddie.
I love checking out new bands. And I came, and I was blown away. Absolutely blown
What
away.
year was this around?
Loved H2O.
95 or 6, man.
Okay. All right. All
It
right.
had to be before the first album
Yeah.
because I was on the first album, right?
You're right. So it was like 95, 94, 95.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, just like that, it happened naturally like that. It was really fucking awesome, man.
And then we hit the road and
Like
we had a
crazy.
blast, didn't we?
Yes, we went everywhere. He took us on some of our best tours to the best audiences and really showed us how to be a professional band, getting there on time, doing a sound check, the way he treated us with your catering, just everything. And then being with Bosstones during that time, and then even up to when Let's Face It blew up and you guys all over the television, you're the exact same dudes. And like they really taught us a lot, man. For
Thank
sure.
you so much.
You guys were still the same people.
Even now?
Yeah, for sure. He's got longer hair, the more grayer. Different.
You guys
After
got to pick a lot of the bands.
all the
you brought on
television
board.
and all the other stuff, you feel like I'm still the same guy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just cut in. It's like
Of course, you get to pick
it
the own
was
bands
like
you
a
want on
special
tour.
moment.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
They didn't like it that we were
Right, I was
picking our
gonna
own
say-
bands.
Who's
And a lot
they?
of times the record label
Right,
or
right.
you know,
The
you should
powers
take
that
out
be.
the powers that be. You should take out some bands from
They're
your label.
drawing some, the bands already are drawing people,
Yeah, and it's like you guys have got some juice, so maybe you could spread that around with our label. But I was more into I loved going to see live music, and I loved and plus we're on the road, so you meet some people and you go, okay, I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 months. You don't want to be out with dipshits,
Yeah, yeah.
And I met Toby, and in that instance, I actually changed my rule, and I said, I'll take this dipshit out.
You remember when management and labels were like, "What's their sound scan? Like, how are they doing per
sound
week?
scan.
Oh, yeah.
Should we
Yeah.
take them on tour because their sound
Their
scan?"
sound scan, yeah, and all of that.
Yeah.
None of that ever mattered to us.
That's
None of
awesome.
Yeah.
it. Plus that we would always strike our drums and
You would do that.
give you room up on the stage and that kind of thing.
What was
That's
interesting about
amazing.
that is going on another tours after that didn't do that. We're like, oh, this isn't normal. This is not the normal thing to do.
No, it's
You know what I mean?
not
Like, play-
normal.
you have, like,
Start taking somebody's drums down. Hey,
whoa, 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 whoa. They're like, what the fuck
But
you doing?
but you have like 2 feet to like jump back and forth on stage because bands wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's such a strange. But I get like, especially my son's super anal about his drums, like sharing your drums and moving your drums. I get it, but like even just push it back a teeny bit. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
For us, we were a 9-piece band.
Yes.
So
like
that
the Wu-Tang. Like the Wu-Tang.
We tried to, get that started. Maybe if it became a thing, strike the drums, because it would really work for us. So if we had to play in front of somebody's drum set, then it was a disaster. We had a dancer, for God's sakes. Where the hell is he going to dance?
I was just thinking right now about the Wu-Tang, actually, not joking about how big that band was.
Yeah.
And then you as well. Like, I'm trying to think other artists that had that many people that were like...
They didn't have any equipment.
But everybody had their own...
Yeah, they didn't have drums up there.
Nah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Turntables,
have
right?
live bands now, though.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Wu-Tang play?
Many times.
Yeah, many times?
Yes, many times. And just recently, too, with Nas and Busta Rhymes last year.
Amazing.
It was incredible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Why, you think you heard otherwise?
Is ODB's son up there?
Yes.
Yeah, I met that kid.
And he's killing it.
He's
Yeah.
killing it. Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing how he sounds and looks just like him and stuff on stage.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him. I may have seen him once, but it didn't really. It was on a festival or something.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing I like about this podcast is how you think you know somebody and you do a deep dive about them and you find out things you thought you knew. Because I thought you were like born and bred in Massachusetts. Come to find out you're from Rhode Island.
I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, but I told you that early on because you're from Rhode Island too, right?
I lived in Newport. Yeah, I lived in Massachusetts and Newport, Rhode Island. But you were born there. I always thought you were just born in Mass for some reason. I don't know.
Now, people think that. My father grew up in Providence, the Blessed Sacrament neighborhood. That was his parish, and that's where he went to elementary school, and then he went to, what was it called? What was his high school? Holy Cross High School?
Holy Cross, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Holy Cross High School, and my uncle was the chief of the fire department, the entire fire department, and he was head of the paramedics.
Wow.
He became a paramedic when you're too young probably, Toby, but there was a show called Emergency.
I am too young.
Yeah, so Emergency was like, you remember 1M12?
Yes.
There was another show called Emergency. It was about a paramedics team. But before Emergency came on the air, there wasn't really, universal or nationwide paramedics units. So that show came up, and then other fire departments were like, well, maybe we should have one of these paramedics things. So it was basically an ambulance that was, part of the fire department. And that was what my uncle did for years. And he used to be on the news in Providence all the time, like if there was some big crazy crash out on 95, and so he became sort of a celebrity and was a paramedic till he retired in years, and it really messed up his brain.
Really?
Yes, he saw a lot of shit.
PTSD, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, he had that.
Wow.
Sweet guy, and my namesake. His name was Richard Barrett as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have siblings too?
I do. My brother Billy, a year older, and my sister Kathy. When I say a year, it's like 11 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Irish twins, and my sister was 11 months younger.
And how was that? How was that grow up in Providence? Well, how long were you there for?
Not long. We were in Cumberland and Cranston, and then
Cranston.
Before I even went to school, and then we moved to Norwood, Massachusetts. And
why'd you end up there?
Which I called my hometown. Because my mother found a house there that she could afford.
Yeah.
And she was from Wrentham, Massachusetts, not too far. And her sisters lived in Needham and Wellesley, Massachusetts. She had to be near them. And it was a nice town to grow up in. Norwood's a nice town to grow up in.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier when we were driving here, I was probably the most famous thing from Norwood right up until Moderna.
That was created there?
Yes, Moderna's there. Moderna
Wow.
moved into, I think it started in Cambridge, and then it got very popular, very big recently, and they moved into Norwood in what was the Kodak factory, the old Kodak company. Yeah, so we grew up where they would have the instant film company.
Yeah.
We've all taken Polaroids, Kodak.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So now you're the number 2 from Providence.
Yeah, now it's Moderna, Dicky, in my hometown of Norwood, Massachusetts.
Was your parents pretty strict growing up? Because you're Irish Catholic, were you going to church and all that stuff? And
my mother kept a good eye on us, and she was, we probably had to be in the house earlier than the other kids, but I wouldn't say strict. And she was great mother. She was really good to us. And father was, my dad, and I love him dearly, but he was a character for sure.
Yeah.
He was the Irish guy.
Yeah.
My mother was of German descent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how were you as a kid? Like before you found music and stuff like that, just as a student or just
I was interested in drawing pictures and art and sort of that kind of thing. So I was doing my own thing, and then I sort of, rightly or wrongly, I learned early on that adults don't know shit, and then I'm not proud of that, and I was sort of that kind of guy, and me and my brother were hellions, but I don't think we really kept it, wasn't around the house.
You outside in the streets until the street lights came on and shit like that?
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Were you into any sports or anything like that?
I was horrible at sports, but I loved them.
Okay.
My brother was an exceptional athlete. But,
okay.
But
you tried.
Baseball or?
Yeah. I was, I like to play second base, but they usually put me in the outfield. And, I'd end up drawing pictures in the dirt and shit out there.
I would do the same shit.
Out in right field.
I'd be so bored. I'd be drawing pictures out there too. I was so bored. I tried too, man.
I like the whole idea of it and everything and being on a team. Played hockey as a kid, all that kind of Massachusetts stuff. Yeah.
Toby, I didn't know that you tried.
I tried playing baseball, as a kid, of course. My mom put me in all the sports. I didn't like them, but I tried, yeah.
How about yourself, Derek?
Yeah. Full on.
Right up to high school?
Yeah. I mean, I was a big kid, so every coach dreamed. They were like, yo, you got to play football.
Yeah.
And I was playing for this Catholic school, defensive end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then they found out I wasn't Catholic, and then I got kicked off.
No way.
And then I was just like, I hate church and I hate football. And I was radically pissed after that.
Yeah.
Like, fucked with my head.
Did you love playing football?
I loved it. Like, my coach is like, you have so much heart, man. You go after it. Yeah. That coach is now at USC, and he told me years later, he was like, yo, 3 people from that team, your school, went on to the NFL, and you were better than them.
Yeah.
Wow, Derek.
And I was like,
you just weren't
shit.
Catholic.
Yeah, I just wasn't Catholic. But I mean,
that's kind of crazy.
It's crazy, but I think it kind of saved my head.
Yeah.
Because NFL is like really, it stands for like not for long. Yeah. Anything could have happened. Like bashed in the head so many times, and it's dangerous.
Have you ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
I love it.
Do you feel like Uncle Rico?
A little bit.
Like you would have, could have, should have.
So not living out of a van, but I mean,
I had the career in football, but you blew it.
Career.
So Dicky, what about like your exposure to music and stuff like that? Like, what was the kind of stuff with your parents listening to music in the house, or?
Yeah, and me and my brother did. We chased it and found rock and roll. Jay Giles Band, Aerosmith.
Okay.
Jay Giles early on, Jay Giles was, and probably hugely influenced me when it came to the Bosstones too. Big band, lots of members.
Yeah, nobody ever mentions them on the podcast ever to this day, and they had so many bangers.
Oh yeah.
Great songs,
unbelievable.
Where were they from?
They were from Boston.
I did not
really?
know. I
had no idea.
Me either, dude.
Yes, they were.
All I know is
saw them at my high school.
Wow.
Severian Brothers High School.
That's amazing.
They played the gym. It was I think the first concert I went to was Thin Lizzy and and the Outlaws, and then concert at the high school that I wasn't even going to the high school yet. I think I was still in junior high. It was a Catholic high school called Severian Brothers, and they played there and blew my mind. Completely blew my mind, and they were huge in Boston. They had that live Boston record, Blow Your Face Out. I think half of it was recorded in Detroit, where they were huge too. And the other half was recorded in Boston, and loved them. And then became friends with Peter later on, when I had some success as, 2 Boston guys. And it was a thrill for me to know him and to, hang out and tell him how important that Jay Giles stuff was. And he's terrific songwriter, really, really good entertainer. He just killed it.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff he did, like he would, when I saw Jay Giles, and I saw him a bunch of times, he would always introduce the band. Like, this is, it's very important to know that this is Magic Dick playing the harmonica.
You did that too?
And this is Jay Giles on the guitar. Like you knew all the members, you know.
Yeah.
Seth
cool.
Justman.
I always loved that.
Yeah.
Me too. And the Bosstones did that as well, man.
Yeah. Well, I stole it from him.
Okay.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't like Jay Giles, weren't they like head neck and neck with like Huey Lewis in the news? Like I think Huey Lewis like kind of like bit
come the 80s,
Yeah.
but we were sort of into them in the 70s before like Angel is a Centerfold.
Great song.
Yeah.
Those big ones. But
Those are banger.
yeah, we liked like
huge.
you know, Must Have Got Lost and Southside Shuffle. They had this, like I said, they had this live album that every kid in Massachusetts had called Blow Your Face Out.
Did you start going to punk shows in high school as well, or was it after?
Punk shows senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And that was a story that I told 1,000 times when I was at the Punk Rock Museum 2 weeks ago.
But not on this podcast, so it doesn't matter.
No, so I will. So I'll tell you now. That's why. So
Exclusive.
I should be able to tell it well.
Yeah.
Is that Al Lethal, Al Burrell from SSD, and Jack Kelly, who's Choke.
Wow.
He was in Negative Effects at the time.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Slapshot, but they were on Emerson College Radio, WERS, and the shows that me and my friend Mark Higgins, who you know, Higgs.
Yep. Shout out to Higgins.
Yeah, shout out to Higgs. We would listen to these two punk rock shows, hardcore shows, and one was called Faster Than You, and the other one was called Unsafe at Any Speed. They were these two punk hardcore shows, and we'd listen to them half-an-hour shows, but 400 songs in half an hour. And so all of a sudden, one episode, Al and Jack were on the show.
Yeah.
And we didn't know who they were, but there was two guys on there going, you know, cutting up and everything, going, we're starting a scene. Come this weekend. Come into Boston. Yeah, we're going to start a scene. If you live in the suburbs and you're listening to this, and me and Higgs are looking at each other, we live in the suburbs. We'll listen to this. Gallery East, this Sunday, come in. You know, the scene has begun. We got to be there. I don't know what a scene is.
Yeah.
But if this music is involved, we're going to be there. And we showed up, and we were part of the Boston scene.
Wow.
Boston
Just like
crew.
that.
Just like
The
that.
Wolves, yeah. We answered the call.
Wolves.
We called ourselves the Wolf Pack.
Whoa. Yes.
So you're
The
the
Wolf-
original. You're
the
the
original Wolf
You're the
Pack.
original Wolfpack.
Yes, the DYS
Wow.
song, yes.
Bro, did
I
not
didn't-
know that.
Yes.
Kids will have to
Absolutely.
say Wolfpack. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that what you got as being part of the scene is like, if Al's van pulled up and they were going somewhere on tour or anything, and you could get in the van, you could. Like I did that. We went down to CBGB's in like 1982 for the Bad Brains show.
Bruh.
You know those Christmas shows?
Yeah.
Bad Brains at CBGB's. Went down there. SSD opened up one of those shows. You know, met like a bunch of the New York guys, Harley Flanagan, and a bunch of the.
Was that intimidating? Because there was also a Boston rivalry too, right?
It hadn't really started yet.
Okay.
At that
Okay.
point, it
Okay.
got going a little bit after that. We went down with our band, so we didn't know much about, like we knew about DC and some of the New York stuff, but it wasn't as prominent as, say, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Minor Threat, and we certainly knew our own bands for sure. So I remember, I don't know if other members of the crew had met, but I remember meeting Harley and go, whoa, this tiny kid with a demon tattooed on his chest, like greeting us, shot out of a cannon coming at us. And that CBGB show, the Bad Brains, were insane.
Oh man, I can't even imagine.
So good.
In their prime, yeah.
In the prime.
Prime.
Like,
I think there's a video of that too. Like the crowd is.
There's a very famous video.
The one by stage rushing across the stage and stuff.
All of that. CBGB's live at CBGB's,
Dude.
1982, and at the end of that video, there's footage of me shaving my friend Punky's head on the stage of CBGB's.
Wow,
because we were part of the crew.
Damn.
But it was quite an amazing show.
And was your brother into it too as well?
My brother had his own thing going. He was into Boston music and Boston, but he was more into the Boston garage rock scene.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really kind of, jibe with the hardcore scene, but all the hardcore guys, Jake and everybody knew Billy. Billy was doing his own kind of thing musically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely graduated from high school, right? Because you ended up going to college.
Well, that's a little blurry. Is there a piece of paper? Who knows? I'll tell you this. I was at the graduation.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
Yeah, I was at the finish line.
Right.
But if we check the credentials, who knows? I did end up having to go to get a, what do they call that? If you get a
GED?
GED.
Oh, okay.
After Somerville High School, I had to go to get the GED.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what
Like
was your
5 years later?
What was your major in college?
Art, illustrating, drawing pictures,
Nice.
that kind of thing. And I did really well. I enjoyed being when it was Bunker Hill Community College,
Yeah.
which is the college from Good Will Hunting,
Oh shit! Did
not
know that.
Harvard.
Okay.
The other one, that Robin Williams worked at.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And that's where you met Joe Sorois too, as well, in college.
Joe Sorois, absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you in a band at that point? Before any of that?
Yeah. Well, I was in Impact Unit.
Yeah, I know that. We're gonna tell
As you remember.
And Cheapskates.
Cheapskates before that.
Yeah.
Right. That was a kind of a bunch of the hardcore kids put together a ska band. Chris Doherty from Gangrene.
Yes.
And a couple of the guys from Stranglehold. Who else was in that band? Guys from another ska band called, gosh, I can't remember what they called themselves. But JG, who ended up being a Bosstone, was in that band. And Ted Benjamin played bass. I need to remember the name of that band.
That's okay. But one of my first punk shows was seeing your band. I have the flyer. It's Impact Unit, Proletariat, Outer Rich, and Verbal Assault. I don't know where it was. I had the flyer forever. I checked all night long with my wife. I have all my flyers saved, but I'm going to find it. But it was my first punk show, and your band played.
Wow.
And you only played a handful of shows, supposedly, Impact Unit.
About 5 shows.
And I was at one of them.
That's incredible.
And I was like, that'd have been like 83 or something. I was like 13 or something.
That's insane.
Were you
first show.
impressed?
What?
Were you impressed?
I probably didn't even realize it until later on in life that was your band that I saw, because I didn't realize that was your band. You know what I mean? It was a great show. It was like, and it was like local bands for me. You know, I hadn't seen any out of town bands yet. It was like, I thought it was Lupo's, a Living Room, or something like that. But yeah.
Whoa.
So
were you always like you wanted to sing? Was that something that
I wanted to be involved in music? I didn't really think I could sing.
Okay.
Certainly not. I liked writing lyrics. I liked poetry. I liked the whole idea of being in a band. I didn't really take the steps that people take, like learn an instrument and to be in a band. But I certainly liked being part of Boston punk rock scene, music scene, hardcore scene, and it seemed like I was brave enough to front a band.
I see.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, whatever my tools were. So I said, give me that mic.
Right.
Move over.
The Impact Unit was My Friend the Pit. That was 83, but it didn't come out until 89. What was that for?
Oh, it did come out. I think it came out in Europe first.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in Europe.
Wow.
Early on, and then I think the Bosstones put it out on the Bosstones Big Rig label.
Okay.
Years after that, but it's funny because when I was with Fat Mike in Las Vegas, Fat Mike was telling me how NoFX covered the song Night Stalker off of that EP.
Wow.
Early on, so he said he had a demo.
That's crazy.
I had a demo, and NoFX would cover Night Stalker. So he's telling me this while he's giving me a tour of the Punk Rock Museum, Mike, and standing next to me is this guy Mark.
Yeah.
And Mark is an artist, and he's gonna
Mark DeSalvo?
Yeah, but don't step on my story here.
I'm not. I just know who he is.
Okay. I
don't know the story.
I know.
Stepping all over.
He's a good person. That's why.
All right, so Mark's a good guy, and his last name is DeSalvo.
Gotta give him love.
So it's as Fat Mike's telling me that they covered Night Stalker. I said, "Oh, that song's about serial killers and mass murderers," and I wrote it when I was in high school. And at some point in the song, I mentioned the Boston Strangler, and I say the Boston Strangler's name wrong. I mispronounce it in the song, and I told him that. He goes, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Yeah, his name's DeSalvo, and I pronounce it DeSalvio." And as we're having this conversation, Mark's standing next to us, and he's getting uncomfortable. He's kind of looking at his shoes and shuffling around. I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "Well, my last name's DeSalvo." And I go, you don't mean to tell me? He goes, well, it's not clear, really. My grandmother used to say, and my grandfather never even talked about him.
What?
And I go, are you related to the Boston Strangler? And he goes, there's some speculation. He kept like kind of avoiding it. And I go, all right, let's calm down. Everybody calm down here. He goes, my grandmother used to say that, our last name's DeSalvo, so we need to rise above it because of the... And then other members of the family would say, he's an uncle. And then right there I go, okay, you're related to the Boston Strangler.
Wow.
Officially. That was part of my tour every day.
Holy shit.
Because at the end of the tour, we come to his gallery, which was hanging up in the chapel at the Punk Rock Museum. And he's famous for like Heavy Petting Zoo, the Lagwagon, Nerdy Girl.
Record covers and stuff.
Record covers,
Okay.
yeah. No Use for a Name. He did, and he's a terrific painter. Really, really good. And he's done all these. They're iconic to people who love that, Fat Record stuff or
Totally.
that stuff. You've seen it, you know it. You go, holy shit. And he's the guy. So I'm doing this tour through the museum, and I end up at the chapel. And every day I'd be like, and now we've got a very special treat. We're going to look at some of the artwork from the Boston Strangler's nephew. People are like, what?
Oh my God! Was he bumming about it? He was just laughing.
He was laughing, but it was 5 or 6 tours of it.
Wow.
We got a very special treat, everybody. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Boston Strangler. This is his nephew, and this is his painting.
He's never gonna live it down now.
I said, well, that's who he is forever to me.
Right.
You know me, all things Boston.
What about your exposure to like ska music? Like, was that a thing? Like how'd you get into that? Like living in Boston?
I saw the English Beat at the Paradise.
Classic.
Opening up for the Pretenders.
Wow.
We bought Pretenders tickets and everything. And you didn't.
Great
I
band.
didn't know. Of course, loved that Pretenders record. And there we were at the Orpheum Theater, where I also saw the Clash play. And
That's no big deal.
up on the opening act was the English Beat, and Ranking Roger came out, and I was like, oh my God. And his feet were never on the ground. I just couldn't, if you got a picture, it was always, airborne.
Sick.
Crazy. Loved the English Beat. Loved Dave Wakeling. Loved the songs. Were so magic. Got the record the next day. And there was a guy that came from Roslindale, moved into Norwood, came to our suburban town. And Roslindale was a bedroom community of Boston, like in the very, very close to, the city itself. And he came in, and he was a little older than us and insane. And he had all these punk rock records, including all the ska records.
Yeah.
And I gravitated towards those. I loved the special. We would go to his house after school and go, all right. Till we started going into Newbury Comics ourselves, me and Higgs, and getting our own records. But we would listen to his Ramones, Rocket to Russia, and he had them all. He had everything you wanted to hear. And I got an education real quick from him. And I was only like 15 or 16. When that guy came to town, and that changed my life. And then seeing the English Beat playing, I was like, that's it. I love that music.
Yeah.
I am a ska dude.
And that kind of inspired Toxic Toast.
Yes, it did. You're right. Toxic Toast. Well, Toxic Toast was my first apartment.
Okay.
Me, Jake Phelps, and Andrew Brady had an apartment that we weren't paying rent for, but it was on Queensbury Street, which we called Toxic Toast. And said, this is our place. And Jake Phelps went on to become the editor of Thrasher magazine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Jake. But he was my first roommate and
That's
very
crazy.
close friend.
Yeah.
And a very good guy. I like Jake. And as troubled as his life was, and he always did it his way. I mean, he went for it. I remember when he said, I'm going to go to San Francisco and work at Thrasher magazine. I'm well, how's that? How are you gonna? people would say stuff to me like that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next thing I know, he's running the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's fucking cool.
It is cool. He was from Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Were there any other ska bands around in Boston at the time?
I remember the name of that band. There was Mission Impossible.
Yes, I remember that band too.
Mission Impossible
Yep.
was kind of the first ska band. Maybe Bim Scala Bim was before them.
Ooh.
And then there was another one. 007 was another band that had ska influences for sure.
Yeah.
But those are the three that I remember, and then I think the Bosstones came out next. People can argue. Jay Giles did ska. Listen to "Give It to Me." The song "Give It to Me," an early, because Peter Wolf, just like same thing happened in England, but Peter Wolf went to Jamaica early on in the '60s and bought all these ska records. So he had huge ska influences, Peter. And "Give It to Me," you can hear it. It's like
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole song.
No, you don't have to.
Just do the guitar part.
So
for those of you who don't know what ska sounds like.
But when you guys come out, you guys playing punk shows because it wasn't like a big ska market, I guess, back then. You was kind of playing because they knew you from Impact Unit, other bands you're in, right? So it's just like, here's my new band. We're playing more ska vibes. We're just getting shows and shit.
Well, Cheapskates kind of, we were playing because we were all hardcore kids that started the Cheapskates from the original, Boston crew. So there's, we had that going. So we were playing punk shows, of course. And it's the same thing that was going on, the original first wave of ska, Selectors, Specials, Madness, they all played with the punk bands too, so it wasn't that far.
But the Bosstones get credit for kind of starting the genre of ska core, if you want to call it a genre.
I think we deserve credit for that. I think that we coined that phrase. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was ska core before we named that record ska core, The Devil and More.
Yeah.
And that's why I freely call myself the godfather of ska core. Because
as you should.
For a couple of reasons. One, no one else really wants to call themselves the godfather of ska core. And two, I think we came up with the name. So,
but so many bands came from that after that.
People call, it's fun to hear people go, I'm in a ska core band,
But there's like, you guys like the
and
OGs, the originals.
I like to go. I was in the very first one, my son.
Are you working a job and stuff while you're doing music at that?
Currently?
No, at that point. Back then.
That's offensive, Toby.
No, back then.
I'm a little down on my luck, but all right. I'm bagging groceries at Whole Foods.
I'm saying back then, was it like was it a goal? It's like, I'm going to be a musician, I'm going to do this, or like, I'm just going to start a fucking band? I love this genre, this music.
You got to remember the times.
Yeah.
So there's no internet.
True.
Right.
Video games were, Pac-Man and Frogger.
They were huge.
Great games.
They were great, but you didn't dedicate your life to it.
True.
Some people,
Some people did, but they were disturbed. Those people, for the most part. If you were Pac-Man king,
and they're still playing them.
All right, bless them, and no offense.
No offense.
Pac-Man
no
kings
disrespect.
No disrespect
out there
to the world of Pac-Man.
And Frog.
But I would a handful of quarters and I was out of the arcade. You didn't have it at your house. You had to go out to play Pac-Man.
But what were your goals at that point, you think, in your life? What did you want to do?
Not work.
Yeah.
Hang out, see music every single night, and music every single night was available.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a kid out of high school, and I didn't,
There was no pressure at home to get a real job and all that kind of shit.
I think, my mother would have liked me to have, been in med school or something, but, that bird had flown.
Yeah.
And then, but, what was offered to us and what we loved was live music. Mm-hmm. And you had to be there. You had to go. You had to, it wasn't, I could just look at it on the internet or on my phone or anything like that. You showed up. You showed up, and it was every night. In Boston at that time, you could, see a band in Cambridge, whip across town to the Rat and Kenmore Square and see a band there, and then head down to, there was tons of venues, tons of bands. It was college town, so we were feeding that beast. And it was wonderful. It was where we wanted to be. That's where I wanted to do. So I worked a job at the Super Salad in Kenmore Square, but that was just so I could, buy beer at the venues where I could see live music of what I consider to be the greatest bands ever. And we can talk about, the Dogmatics, the Prime Movers, all these tremendous, very diverse, very different, in the hardcore scene was one thing, but then there was the Del Fuegos, then there was, the Outlets were an incredible pop punk band that, to me blew the doors off of everything that came after that. When
Wow.
you saw the Outlets, it was Outlets was Ricky Barton and his brother Dave, who fronted that band. And Ricky Barton went out on to, he started the Dropkick Murphys with Ken Casey.
Oh, wow.
He's that guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but Outlets were an incredible band that I couldn't get enough of.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the list goes on. There was a band called Scruffy the Cat that I loved and had to see. My brother was in a band called Chain Link Fence that had some recognition. They toured with the Red Hot Chili Peppers early on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, early on. If I run into Chili Peppers to this day, they'll go, "Hey, how's Wild Billy doing?" It's
That's awesome.
early. Yeah. They look at me funny, like, "Hey," you know, like my brother was nuts.
He was a wild kid.
He was. He went for it.
What about the transition from Toxic Toast into the Mighty Bosstones?
So like, you got to remember, Toxic Toast never played a show. That wasn't anything.
Okay.
That it was Impact Unit played about 5 shows. Cheapskates played maybe 10 shows. All kinds of Curtis from Tang was pushing
Records,
that whole
yeah.
thing, putting it all together, and that was a huge interest of his. And we played on that Emerson College radio station that I mentioned earlier, WERS. We played live on that, and the shows were a mess. The shows were a complete mess. We were drunk by the time we loaded in.
Wow.
And we just were nuts all over the stage, and other bands were like, "What the hell is going on here?" There's a big show that we played at a church in Cambridge that young Joe Gittleman and young Nate Albert came to, and they were blown away by it, and they were like, "We want to be in a ska band." And they started playing together, Joe playing bass and Nate Albert playing guitar. And then when the Chiefs, I don't even want to say broke up, because it just sort of fell apart.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, and they were like, "Do you want to sing for this band?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't, you know, I've done that." And they're like, "Oh, you know, please." And then I came to their practices, and I liked what they were doing. We got this drummer from Brookline High School. His name was Josh Dulcimer, and he played with us. And so the Bosstones were born.
Wow.
I know you didn't ask that question.
No, I love that. I need that.
Dovetailed into it.
I love that.
Was that
with
the name?
Yeah, who came with the name?
The Bosstones? Probably me. I think we had some other bad ideas before it, like the Cashmeres, or there was some other things we were bouncing around, but we were, you know, like most Boston a-holes, we were super proud of our town. We're from Boston. We're from Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to let people know, and then the name Boston was taken. So we bastardized the word. We called ourselves the Bosstones first, and then Curtis was going to put out a record, and we were like, "Oh shit!" We found out that there was another band that in the 50s that called themselves the Bosstones.
That makes sense.
And they were like a Harvard a cappella doo-wop band.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. It's like Bosstones.
Yeah. We're the Bosstones. The
Right.
boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
We are the Bosstones from Cambridge. Boom, 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 boom.
But they're so hard. I love that.
That's it. So we didn't know what they did. I think they did have they had a song. If you look it up, it's called Mopedy Mope. And I don't know how it goes or
Really?
anything about it. Yeah.
Mopedy
Mope. But it was released. The thing we realize is they're from Harvard, so they probably have good lawyers.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So there was this bartender at this place we used to play called The Rat, the very famous
yeah.
Rathskeller Club in Kenmore Square.
Many times.
And that I grew up in. You know, I remember when I turned 21, I announced to The Rat, "I'm 21!" And then all the door staff were like, "You asshole, you've been drinking here for 2 years."
That was like your CBGBs.
That was definitely our CBGBs.
Yeah.
It was. It was just as disgusting,
Wow.
It was.
the
yeah.
two of them. But
It's a hard city to crack when you're coming from New York too. Being a band, it took us many times.
Boston?
Oh yeah, people arms crossed staring at you. It took a long time for us.
But
Especially
because you were
the
trying
Rat.
to crack it hardcore, right? You're trying to crack it punk.
Yeah.
Very friendly if you did. Like the Bosstones were like, everybody comes to our shows.
Yes.
And that's the sort of thing. We weren't trying to, come one, come all. And that really has to do with, like we said, the bands that we took on the road. It didn't matter that, if you remember back in the day, it was like Shooty's Groove. You
Oh
know?
my
We
God,
took them out for the
Shooty's
first
Groove,
time.
jeez.
Took out H2O for the first time.
Yeah.
Then we'd take out the Pie Tasters.
The Pie Tasters a lot, yeah.
We'd do lots. Hepcat we took out on the road, but we'd go, Total Chaos. We took those punks on the road.
It's true, man. It was a very diverse bill, man.
Yeah, Royal Crown Review
Yes.
was something, so many.
Dude, the Janice Landing shows in Florida. Oh my God.
Those are great, weren't they?
Ooh, the Florida shows, those
Yeah.
runs we did with you, because it's hard to like really do good in Florida, at least coming from the scene we're in. But you guys do Florida was incredible. Always playing the guys. It was great,
Right.
man. But
Well,
yeah.
it was because of the suits. People they thought we dressed like old gangsters.
But you rocking the plaid first, and that was another thing people give you guys so much credit for, rocking the full plaid.
Yeah, but
It had been done before?
Bay City Rollers,
Bay City, okay.
right? You
Yeah.
remember them, right?
Yeah.
They'd rock
I think
all plaid.
Rod Stewart and the Faces used to do it too. Those Scottish guys would.
But really nobody in that genre.
No,
Yeah.
we
And that was
kind of
a-
had a thing, and I think that comes from two-tone, the English two-tone ska stuff too. They had the checkerboards,
Yeah.
and it was like
Yeah.
black and white unite. It was real cool concept, had tons of meaning and tons of depth, and then we were like, everybody unite, plaid.
Yeah, that's
You know,
good.
so
Yeah,
that was sort of the thinking behind it, and we wore it to an extreme for
Yeah.
sure.
Had
And
you- Go ahead.
I think it started with I wore my roommate's bathrobe to a Bosstones show,
Nice.
plaid bathrobe,
It just caught on. That was it.
and it was that was my thing. And then I think I started wearing pajamas too.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's comfortable.
It was
I
real,
could see
yeah.
that. Had Bosstones played a
Those
bunch of
plaid pajamas, and then right to bed after the show. Nothing
all
better.
sweaty and drunk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sweaty and drunk.
did
Good point, Toby.
Had Bosstones played a lot of shows before the first The Devil's Night Out came out? Had you like built like a fan base in Boston, whatever?
Not a ton of shows.
Yeah.
And we were floored by how great the record come out, and you can attribute that to Joe Gittleman, who really knew what he wanted it to sound like,
Yeah.
and Nate had a pretty good sense.
Great
of
players,
what
man.
he
Great
wanted.
musicians.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible.
they are virtuosos.
Yeah.
The two of them.
Was that their first kind of band too?
I think they may have done something else. Well, Joe was in Gangrene for
Oh, that's
a little
right.
while too.
That's right.
Remember?
Damn.
Yeah, but the Bosstones were together, and we recorded some stuff, and then Chris Daugherty from Gangrene said, I want Joe Gittleman to play with Gangrene, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, shit,
Yeah.
because at that point I was really enjoying playing with them, and I was like, all right, Chris, but take care of him. He's my brother.
Yeah.
I really did consider him my brother, my kid brother. And Chris like, yeah, I'll take care of him. And it didn't last all that long. One record or maybe two records, and things moved so fast. And then he fell in love with the guy that was playing bass for the DRI. At the guy named Josh Pepe. I think it was DRI. And, kind of just cut Joe loose,
Okay.
which broke my heart and, kind of hurt Joe's feelings. But Joe, he sort of keeps it in, eternalizes it. And,
Yeah.
And I was super mad. And I was like swearing vengeance. I'm like, don't worry, Joe. We'll get the Bosstones back together, and we'll be bigger and better and badder than Gangrene ever,
Wow.
Idle threats. I had no idea whether we would. Just wanted to cheer him up.
Yeah.
And then he goes, yeah, let's do that. And we did. And then we made Devil's Night Out. And it was Paul Coldry, who's the guy who produced Let's Face It as well.
Wow.
And a bunch of Boston stuff. On a shoestring. Like we had, we recorded 9 songs in like 2 days and around the clock. And he was doing everything he could to make this happen for us. This guy, Paul Coldry, who's a really good guy. He mostly partnered with Paul Coldry and Sean Slade, and super famous for Creep by Radiohead.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they produced that and Hole's first record.
Lived through this?
They produced
Amazing
that
album.
too.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and they produced the Bosstones. Let's face it, but we didn't have enough money to hire the team, so we just took for our first album. We were like, Paul, we can't pay you both, but it's like, all right, you pathetic little ska guys. And Paul was in bands that we liked as part of that Boston scene too. And Paul and Sean were in this band. I can't remember It's going to be a whole podcast of me not remembering the name of shit.
People can fact check that shit. Look it up. But that record comes out, and that's
a lot of information, though, right?
Of course, yeah.
Useless.
Sure.
And if I didn't store it away, who else would?
Right.
There's people that have it though somewhere.
Yeah.
But that comes out, and that's a good response. Like it's like you're feeling like an official band.
Well, everybody we were playing it for before it was actually released by
Yeah.
Tang was going, oh my gosh, what is it? It sounded cohesive. It had Jimmy on it too from Murphy's
Awesome.
Law.
Nice.
And so people were saying, you're on to something here. And it was us, and it sounded like us, and it said what we wanted to say, and we were pumped.
Yeah. And then did you go on tour like for your fird time with that album?
Yes, with Murphy's Law.
Wow.
Jimmy heard it and said, we'll take you guys out. And they were, they'd been touring somehow for 20 years already. I don't know how the math works out, but it'd been on the road. You couldn't pull into a town without people like flocking to their van, like, hey! And so it was two.
That's incredible.
Econoline, Ford. We got a van, I think, just like theirs, because we had to copy everything they did. It's like, all right, Jimmy was like, we're taking you out now. Pay attention, follow us, watch what we do. It's like, okay, what do we? All right, they got one of those vans. We got to get one of those vans. They got a U-Haul trailer we got to get one of those U-Haul trailers. And so there's two Econoline vans traveling around pulling these U-Haul trailers.
Wow.
The two of us, and a lot of times it was, you pull into town. All right, where are we playing, Jimmy? I don't know. We got to find a place to play. Okay, all right. Spread out. So come out with a gig.
What phase of Murphy's Law that was in? Like what albums had been out?
I think Back with a Bong
just
came out. Yeah,
wow,
banger.
Bong, 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 bong.
All the records, one of the most incredible frontmen in the world, man.
To this day.
To this day, man.
Respect.
Comedian,
For
everything,
sure,
man. The best.
Jimmy's solid, man. Shout out.
Huge heart.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
Massive.
If
massive.
Jimmy loves you, you're loved.
It's
For
so
sure,
true.
man.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
They took us on our first U.S. tour, the Beer and Water Tour in 1996. Like a full U.S. tour.
The beer and water.
It was incredible. We got matching tats on that, too. It was incredible, though. But, yeah, like Adam Blake had just come from shelter. He was a monk. He was a Hare Krishna. And Jimmy took him to his first strip club. And then Adam's life was ruined after that. It was
Jimmy
over.
destroyed Adam?
But Adam wanted to see the world. That's why he left that band to join H2O, because
Yeah.
he was very sheltered, no pun intended. But he came in H2O and was like Murphy's Law and Jimmy, Rat Bones. It was the craziest tour.
I remember Rat Bones. But also the whole Boston, New York hardcore thing sort of
Yes.
ended with me and Jimmy before he even recorded, on the Devil's Night Out record. New York came to Boston and they played on Huntington Ave at a YMCA. And I showed up like late to the show, and New York was dominating. Like they came there to say, "This beef is over." Boston was like up against the walls, and like
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And Jimmy was,
It was just deep. A lot of people came out from New York.
They came deep, and I did a stage dive and landed on some New York guys, and Jimmy said, "Oh, mistake," and he. One thing led to another, and I got the hell out of there with a split lip. And I was like,
wow.
I don't know what hit me. And they were like, I'll tell you what hit you. His name's Jimmy. And but from there, and Jimmy hates when I tell this story. Can't stand it. Because when he, I think I told it on a podcast, he was hosting it. And no, Dicky, no. I was hugging you.
What was the problem? What was the problem with New York? It was like the Yankees versus the Sox?
Yankees, Boston.
Yeah.
We went down to New York to a Rock Hotel show.
Oh, yeah.
And we were doing crazy stuff. Like we set a ladder up behind the pit, and we were jumping off the ladder on people's backs, and
That's different.
We were doing this. Yeah, it was different. We were doing all different stuff. We did this thing where the song would end, and we would keep dancing.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was like through the thing,
That's
like
awesome.
still slamming. Like New York's like, what the fuck is this? And then that's when New York came back down to Boston and said, okay, that thing with the ladder and the slamming between songs, all right,
It's
that's
a
not
wrap.
going to go on anymore. It's
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
It's over. The beef is over. And the message was sent loud and clear to me.
Yeah.
Not long after that, we're singing a song together on my record.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Hugging it
The
out.
Truce. It was a Truce.
Right.
Yeah, Unity Truce. We had the SNL thing that when John Belushi and all that, we had that famous thing.
No, I wasn't down there for that. I don't know how many
Crazy story.
Boston guys came down.
Yeah. Was Boston cool with DC back then?
Very cool.
Okay, cool.
Because
Minor
Al
Threat.
loved Minor Threat. SSD loved Minor Threat.
Of course.
Super cool with that.
And you saw Minor Threat, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Man.
Amazing.
I can't even imagine seeing that.
You never saw it?
No, man, no.
Dude, I saw it at the 930 Club.
Wow.
In DC. And then when they came to Boston at the Channel. Toby never got to see Minor Threat.
Were you ever a straight edge kid?
No, but I rolled with them.
Yeah.
You know?
You rode that crew.
I was the guy quietly drinking a beer of
There's always that one
me and
guy.
Higgs.
There's always a few of those guys.
A couple of them.
Of course.
Straight at sea.
Springer, too, from SSD.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, true, yeah. I just saw him. He was at our Chicago show at Riot Fest recently. I ran into him, yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in years, yeah.
Still in touch with him, and I still talk to Al and still talk to those guys.
So more noise and other disturbances. Where did you go? Incredible songs. That's kind of like almost not your hit, but a song that really catches on that second record.
Where'd you go? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a college radio hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, climbed the charts on the college radio. And that's really how we got going. And that's
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Once that hit the charts, then we were touring colleges up and down the Eastern Seaboard and across the country. And
It seems like you were like one of the first. Well, I'm not really sure in the punk genre, but always playing colleges, and we played colleges with you. It's a whole different world, man.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
weird,
say,
right?
tapped
Yeah.
into.
Did
We
you
were.
notice a different crowd? at
Yes, dude.
we had a booking agent that somehow tapped into that whole market and sent us to colleges. And I
They crushed it in the colleges, by the way.
Right.
I've been with them. Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah, and college, we're psyched we were there and that kind of thing. So, and we were on the college, if you liked music and were going to college at the time, you knew it. When are we going to get to the Defiant?
It's coming, man. It's coming.
We got a long way to go. We're only on More Noise and Other
we
Disturbances.
can
There's
skip
11
through
friggin' albums.
I mean, we can skip through all if you want, but I mean, just some of your history, just some of the records, question the answers, pictures to prove it, everything. The covers album, Angry Samoans, and That Is Someday, I Suppose, on which is another breakout. Fucking SSD, Minor Threat, all that. We'll fast through it through your life. Question the answers, all that shit. And then the hiatus between those, and then Let's Face It, was like a couple years.
It was,
Had the band
was this
broken up
hiatus?
before that or no?
hiatus was like 4 or 5 years long. And
Was the band done or?
We'd recorded Let's Face It for Mercury Records, and then Mercury Records turned into Def Jam Polygram.
Oh, yeah.
Something. And all of a sudden, and the axe was swung. Bands were gone. But we stayed. Us and the Cranberries were like the only two bands they kept.
Wow.
Because we were riding off the success of Let's Face It, and they had the huge hits over in England. So they were the English band and the American band they kept in the popular music department. But that was short-lived. Then we made Pay Attention.
Yeah.
Last record we made with Nate, and then we were cut from that record label, and then we went to Joe Sibb's record label, Joe Sibb and Bill Armstrong's Side One Dummy, and we made Jackknife to a Swan.
Yep.
And toured Australia, toured that record, Warped Tour, all that stuff. And then we took some time off.
Yeah.
And that's when I got the TV job.
Yeah. But just to rewind just to teach, I know you hate talking about yourself, but the Let's Face It record is like a game changer. And for a lot of people listening, you have been doing it for such a long time and just killing it as a longevity band, having some radio play here and there and stuff. But that gave a lot of hope to a lot of bands that being a band almost 20 years before you even have like a smash hit record was pretty insane. You've been doing it a long time, man, before that.
It was crazy, and the stars aligned, and everything, the planets all got in alignment, and it was like coming off of grunge. You got to remember that.
Yes.
Like, grunge was huge, and it was time to feel, the pendulum swings, as we said many times together, me and you. It's like all of a sudden people were tired of being grungy and feeling down. It's like, ta-da! The Bosstones. You want to feel good?
Yeah. And dance
Green
again.
Day.
Yeah.
Things got...
The year punk broke, they say.
Yeah, things got very, very up and very, very sort of, positive and very like, you can go No Doubt. You can go...
Yes.
the bands of that time were a direct reaction to, you know, Kurt's death and grunge and all of that stuff. Sort of, you know, it's time to feel good again.
Yeah, and the impression that I get, it's just kind of like a game changer. And
thank you.
And how does that record change your life?
If I had it to do over again, Toby, I would have enjoyed it more than I enjoyed it. To me, at the time, my head's going, "Oh shit, I'm selling out. The Bosstones are selling out." You know,
some punk rock guilt.
We're on our way to the, you know, MTV Beach House. Like, what the fuck? Okay, all right, I can get through this. We're at the beach house. Okay,
but also,
you guys are going to dance. All right.
But it's organic too, because you weren't trying to be a big band.
That's what I learned. But at the time, it's difficult to tell me, and there's no internet. I can't check. You know, what are the comments? You know, I can't check the comments section. But in my heart, I'm thinking, you know, people are going to say these guys sold out, and all we were doing was making the exact record we want to make.
Totally.
And that record too was a reaction to the record that Tim made and Rancid made, "Out Come the Wolves." And we listen to that thing, it's like,
perfect album.
Oh shit, we can make songs. You know, we can make songs that make sense. And before that record, to be quite honest, we were making anti-songs. We were making, you know, the record label was involved, and we were like, you know, hybriding, smashing punk and ska together in ways that were just, which I love doing, but it wasn't. Now it was like, okay, how do songs work, and what's a song structure, and how does, you know, it's, you start with the verse and you go into the chorus, and then you go verse, chorus, and, you know, not in a boring way, but Out Come the Wolves, we were listening to that and going, there's a way to do this, and still, you know, which we did, and you know, because we had explored everything else musically, so now let's explore actually writing songs. And, you know, we had to admit to ourselves, you know, we've made this many records, we are songwriters, so let's put our brains to it. And the guy that took over at President was Danny. Danny, he was manager for Nirvana.
Okay.
Yell out his name over there, Jenny.
Jenny, can you look it up? Jenny, thank you. Jenny Wyman in the house.
She knows the name. His last name was Danny.
I'm on the spot.
Yeah, Google it for me.
But I want to say that, like, you know, you made your Out Come the Wolves with Let's Face It, I think, because to me, Out Come the Wolves is a perfect album front to back. Same with Let's Face It.
We're not here to talk about Rancid, dude.
No. I'm saying that inspired you, right?
Okay, but the Bosstones.
But Let's Face It is a fucking perfect album that I would put in my top with Out Come the Wolves. I'm giving you props. I'm telling you that. Like Descendants, Everything Sucks. Like these records that, like, after years and years, you make this album. Not that the other records weren't great and you had great songs on, but this record, just the time and everything, it's just perfect. Danny Goldberg. Thank you, Jenny.
So Danny Goldberg became the president of Mercury Records, and when we were making Let's Face It, and he said, you know, you're afraid to write a hit record, and I go, I'm not afraid of anything.
Were you afraid of success?
Yeah, I was afraid of success. Was basically what he's saying. You're your own worst enemy. Afraid, you know, you don't, you know, buckle down. And I go, you know, F you, and I'm going to do this. And, you know, thank you, Danny, because we made Let's Face It.
Yes.
And I that from there, like, a whole door was open for me. It's like, I want to write songs. I want to be part of that process. I enjoy it, and I want to, you know, be considered. When all is said and done, people say, hey, that guy wrote some good songs. I want to be
it seemed very natural, the evolution to that point seemed, at the time when it came out, I was like, oh, this totally sounds like that.
It wasn't forced.
It wasn't forced.
No.
Thank you for saying that, Derek.
No, for sure.
Because it was part of the catalog.
Yeah.
At the time, I'm thinking, because it's blowing up everywhere, and then, you know, here we go.
Is that a surreal moment? It got to be so surreal, dude.
You know, Letterman. We're on Saturday Night Live. Boom, 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 boom. And
stoked, man.
My head was spinning, and I'm like, my fans would probably want to hear me do Devil's Night Out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're not doing Devil's Night Out, dude.
Were you drinking at that time?
No.
Wow. Okay.
Wasn't at that time. Yeah.
That's great.
We made that record sober.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how is it like? I mean, obviously, I ran into you. I played with you. Just so you know, you were the same fucking people. That's what I always loved about Bosstones. Like, your success didn't change anything about you. Maybe financially, maybe a better suit, but
our suits got better. If you look,
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying like
your suit looks nice.
But I'm saying your attitude.
Where's that old ragtag shit you took out of your father's
thrift
closet?
shop clothes. But I'm saying like it didn't change you as people, and I was just so happy for you guys, and I got to be with you before that and during that, and see the reaction to those songs opening up for you. It was just so good. And anytime even Moon will hit me up, if one of the songs comes over, she'll call me like I'm getting emotional hearing like impression that I get on the radio to this day because we have these memories with you.
Well, Moon is the sweetest, and you mentioned thrift shop suits. Me and Moon had such a great time going to thrift stores together.
That is so right.
We did. She was. It was a blast. That first tour.
Yes.
It was a blast.
But yes, I mean,
because you were just wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Moon's very.
Yeah, she's like,
where we at?
Dicky, look at this tie.
Yeah,
she was picking your ties. Yeah, she was like looking for stuff.
I mean, look at the kitchen. We're in Moon's kitchen. Is her kitchen? Yeah. But yeah, I'm just, and also with the finance too. You probably can get a house. You can be more secure. Like a lot of that shit changes.
You can get a house, but you can't live in it because you got to be on the road.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
But you think of it while you're out there.
The place, though. Once that was out, you had to go everywhere, right?
We went everywhere. We were doing 300 plus shows a year. But I loved it. I wouldn't change it. That was my life, and it was tremendous and terrific. And I was, what a blessing for me to be able to do that.
Rascal King Royal. I mean, every single song I just know them just from Desensitized, everything, the Numbered Days, all those songs, just like, fuck, man. I'm just so honored to have been part of that time in your life and being on the tour with you guys. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It was really nice.
It was a pleasure having you and H2O and all of that. Was a huge part of making it fun and making it, worth doing. And people to this day, like, they know we're friends. And they
or just saw us for the first time with the Bosstones. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even having those conversations with Rusty on the tour and the different stories. Rusty with Toby in the parking lot. Love you, Rusty. We'll kick that guy's ass in the parking lot.
Rusty sang his ass off. So did you on the last Bosstones.
Yes.
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 So let's move to that.
Let's go, man. Okay, when God was great.
When God was great. The final Bosstones record.
2021.
Rusty's tremendous at backing vocals, isn't he?
Rusty is no H2O. I'm going to say right now, it's no H2O without Rusty.
Yeah,
no H2O without Rusty. Rusty is my dude. He's my bird. He's my everything. He's incredible, man. Yeah. Incredible singer. And Tim Armstrong was kind of producing that too, right?
Tim Armstrong produced that with Ted Hutt, and I thought it came out great.
I thought it came out great too.
Yeah.
I thought it was an incredible record.
Do you know that on that record, there is, I counted it, somewhere between 12, there's at least 12 people on that record that were unvaccinated.
Wow.
With the COVID shot.
Did not know that.
Do you want me to name them?
No.
Let's do it, Toby. Come on. I said we've been sitting here for an hour now.
I remember going there, and it was during that time.
Come on, let's mention all the guys that are not vaccinated, hiding in the shadows.
I'm in trouble.
You know how many people are nervous right now? Oh shit!
And also,
I think he's going to blow the lid off it.
But also, you also had this song, "The Killing of King Georgie," and that kind of that was inspired by George Floyd during that time, correct?
Well, it was written about. The assassination, and I was canceled for writing it. It's like not.
There was a backlash for this. We don't have to talk, but I don't want to talk about it because I hate all that negative shit. But yeah, I remember that.
I only want to do negative shit.
Okay.
I was about to name names, dude.
Yeah, names. Come on now.
You throwing a block on that with the Killing of Georgie Part 3?
But yeah, that song was inspired by the events, or
it was about the events that took place on when he was murdered.
Yeah,
and the way this country reacted to that, and the way that versus the way this country reacted when Martin Luther King was killed, and that's all it was pointing out.
Yeah,
and I'm the guy that wrote Let's Face It, which was an anti-racism song that's to this day is heralded as a classic anti-racist song.
It is,
and I've always been writing those songs, but at this point things had changed, and it's like, okay, old man. That's not your story to tell. Slow down, But I really wasn't telling that story. I was just putting together, this happened then, this happened now. Where are we as a nation? Where are we? I wasn't. Wow. There was no judgment.
Backlash from who? Who was giving
the interwebs
for everybody? Because the song was called "Killing of Georgie" Part 3, and it was based on Rod Stewart wrote a song called "The Killing of Georgie Part 1 and 2."
Did you know that?
No.
Did not
Okay,
either.
but it's a tremendous song.
Rod Stewart's
it's
amazing.
about it. It's about a guy, a gay guy that was a friend of his years ago. He wrote this in the 70s. That was stabbed on a train in New York City on his way home from a club or something, and it's a really, really good song. So I just took that title and said, "This is Killing of Georgie Part 3."
Got you.
And I thought I was clever. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe it was ham-fisted. Maybe it was dumb. But I don't think so. And I thought the song was great. And somebody wrote about it, and then somebody picked it up, and then we were on the cancel these assholes list, and it was, we just finished the record and just put it out, and it was maybe the third single or
I don't understand why would they want to cancel you for writing a song about.
Well, that's a great question, Derek. I don't know either, dude. But where were you when this was going down? I could have used.
And shit, like,
yeah.
Does online shit bother you? Does that bother you? People saying things online? Do you respond to people?
Well, I like being liked,
Right.
So,
okay,
but
I've
since become thicker. I've got thicker skin now.
East Coast thick
since
skin.
everything, and I was very, very vocal about how I felt about COVID and the vaccine and everything, and I didn't back off, and I wasn't going to pretend that I was when I wasn't. And I think members of the Bosstones would have preferred if I was like not, but I also wasn't like, hey everybody, I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
Things started happening to me. I was working on that television show. I was working on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
How many years on there?
20 years, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Max was a little kid when he first
know.
started coming to see bands on that.
Yes. Thank you for those moments.
No, please. You
Prince
don't have
too.
to.
So
You
many
don't
great
have
shows.
to.
Oh my god.
You don't have to. And I know you'd have gotten in anyway, with or without me.
I don't know, but yeah. But
You go everywhere you want to. That's your thing.
Christina. Shout out to Christina.
You knew other
yeah,
people
yeah.
too, and
But anyway.
if
But
there's something going on in town that you want to go to, you're there.
Yeah.
That's Toby. Fact, right?
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah.
Thanks,
But,
guys. Thanks for the shout out.
But to be the guy that goes, I got Toby and his kid, and to be that guy was always a pleasure.
No,
for me.
dude, thank you. So you're there 20 years.
20 years.
Damn.
And as COVID approached, I had very strong feelings about what's going on, what's going to happen, and what's going to go down. And I knew early on that at some point they're going to shut down music. They're going to shut down. If you want to tour, you've got to get this shot, and you've got to be part of that. And I told the band early on, and I said, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to pretend, and I'm not going to play places that aren't allowing people who haven't got the shot, and I'm not going to be part of that too. And it's like, they were fair and good, and they understood that but as it was getting closer and closer, people were getting more nervous. But I didn't have any plans to, make a flag or a banner or a post like on that subject. But the TV show is owned by Disney. And Disney had strict policy. Everybody that works for Disney has to have, in order to work for Disney, you have to get a COVID shot. So at that point, Jimmy realized I was one of the people that wasn't going to do that. And he, in fairness to him, did what he could to keep his friend as the announcer, but they were coming down on him. Then people became very aware that I was not going to do that. And at the time, I'm doing the TV show remotely.
I remember that.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
So, when I said from Hollywood, I was in my garage.
Yeah. I remember that.
In Arizona doing the show. So, that was sanctioned that I was going to move there during this. And, the show said, well, we're not going to be back in the studio for this certain amount of time, so you might as well. And, and I said, my kids have cousins there, and we're going to, try living there. And it's not a million miles away. As a matter of fact, I drove the 7 hours.
Yeah, thank you for that. Came straight here, man. Thank you.
Hit this microphone at 3 o'clock. Fire them up, because I'm going to name names. So stay tuned, because I'm going to name.
30 minutes early, too.
Yeah.
30 minutes early today.
Yeah.
Very impressed, man.
That never happens.
What are you doing, Max? Just wandering through in a pair of boxer shorts.
My God, what a life!
Looking in the fridge.
What a life, man! I've
This-
seen him do this
Toby,
2
is this a
days in a row.
podcast?
It is a podcast.
You've had 5 years. All you've come up with is a co-host. 5. You're still in the. Yeah.
I'm still in my kitchen, bro.
You knew you weren't cutting it. And thank God for the co-host.
Dude.
Thank you.
All right? You got your kid coming through here. I got a dog sitting next to me.
Dog loves you, though.
The kid's in his boxer shorts drinking a glass of milk now.
Living life.
All right?
Must feel good. Rent
Okay.
free.
I've done a lot of podcasts.
That's why people like it, because it's real. There's a dog. There's this guy being annoying.
Who
It's
likes
extremely
it?
real.
People like it. You'll see. You'll see who likes it.
No, they're polite.
He reminds me of family in Boston. Just like he's just like a Boston ball breaker.
Yeah, just like
A busting
You
ball.
remember my mom? My mom's
Shout out
actually.
to my
like your
grandma.
mom. Yeah. Me and your mom got along really good.
She, you know what?
Your grandmother,
My mom
Max.
fucking loves you, man. She fucking loves you, man.
She
really does.
Absolute doll, wonderful lady, cut from the same cloth as me.
Taunton, Mass.
Yes.
100%.
Taunton is the best.
Is Taunton a good
Really?
place now? I've been there in years.
Taunton is Taunton. It will
Okay.
forever be Taunton, but it actually has a different accent than Boston. It's like, hey, Dicky, you're a really funny bastard. You know, it's like a little bit. Every section of New England, every section.
All different.
Cartoon characters everywhere you
Yeah.
go. You know, but
Back to Kimmel.
we hit it off immediately. me
Yeah,
and
your mom.
mother,
My
right?
mom did,
Yeah.
for sure. She loved you, man. She loved your band, too. I have a question. Were you and Kimmel good friends? That's why you got the job in the first place?
Yeah, very
Okay.
close. And that's
Okay.
what he said, I'm starting this TV show. I thought it would last a couple
Damn.
of years. I had no idea it would last for 20 years. And at that hiatus that we spoke about was going on, and I thought, oh, this will make the Bosstones laugh. All of a sudden, I'm Ed McMahon. What the hell is Dicky up to?
Ed McMahon.
Yeah, but, you know.
I think that
Yes.
that job only helped.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That job helped the band. I think. Kept the
Maybe.
name out there. I think so, man.
Yeah, but
I
we
think
got
so.
to play on it and stuff
Yeah,
like
dude, for
that.
sure.
And it was we enjoyed it, and then we were playing. I was doing that, and we started, the hiatus ended, and we started playing Joe Got the Band back together.
Yeah, and the radio show too.
And then the radio show was weird. Like, all of a sudden, someone came in and said, we're starting an alternative radio station that wants to go, along the lines of K-Rock. And I go, well, K-Rock won't let this happen. But they did. And they
Mighty
hired-
Morning Show.
Mighty Morning Show, exactly.
That's
They
Yeah.
had Steve Jones had a show, Jonesy's Jukebox from the Sex Pistols, and they were hiring like different musicians and rock guys, and they said, do you want to try doing a morning show? And I was like, I'll give it a try. I have mornings off. I'm doing the TV show at night.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And then it was a pretty funny story. It was Jimmy, who's a radio guy, loves radio. That he worked for K-Rock. Before that, he was a journeyman radio, like morning show guy. He was up in Seattle, I think, and then he had a show in Florida, and then out in the desert. He was, like so many radio guys. You go from market to market, wherever the job is, but he just loved all things terrestrial radio. So all of a sudden, he catches wind. He's like, calls me into his office. He's like, I hear you're starting a radio show. And I go, yeah, in a couple weeks I'm going to be on the air. And he's like, well, what kind of show is this going to be? And I really hadn't thought about it. I had thought, they're going to spark up the mics and I'm just going to start talking. I didn't put my brain to it. And I go, well, I couldn't think of anything to say to him. I go, I don't. What are you going to do? I go, I don't know. I go, I think I'm going to give tattoos on Tuesday. He goes, what? And I came up with that right in his office in my head.
Tattoo.
I go, yeah. I go, it's going to be Tattoo Tuesday. And he goes, you're going to give tattoos on the radio? You do realize no one's going to be able to see those tattoos. So why don't you do magic tricks too? Voila. I just pulled a rabbit out of my hat. Anybody like that? He's like, you're out of your mind. He goes, I'll tell you, it's not going to be a good show. So then I was like, all right, I've got to stick to this tattoo idea.
Yes.
And I started calling around, and I got they've got a good producer. We got I'm going to put something together. I had Lawrence start building me like bumpers and, a theme song. And I go, I have to have something because now Jimmy is dialed in. He's going to be listening.
Oh, shit. No pressure.
Huge pressure to me. Because as I said, I love radio too, but Jimmy loved radio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And about month into the show, Jimmy calls me again. He goes, dude, I've been listening to your radio show. I go, yeah? It's really good. And he'd been listening. He only listened to Howard Stern. He goes, I listen with the kids because, there's nothing offensive. You're not swearing, and it's not Howard Stern. He goes, you're doing a good job, really good. And I was super proud. It meant a lot to me. And I loved doing that show. Yeah. And you were on the show.
At like 6 a.m, at one point I did a portrait of my son on my leg.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy getting tattooed that early in the morning, plus like in like a
How long was the show? Like an hour long, or?
No, it was about 3 or 4 hours in the morning.
Yeah, it was legit.
It was the longest show.
What?
Yeah, it was a full drive time, and also, I didn't know shit about LA.
Say,
I'm the LA morning guy on this thing, and basically, I was given Red Sox scores because
Oh my God.
I was still fresh out of Boston.
You could do whatever you want on the show.
I didn't know where anything was. If they started
103.1.
103.1. Indie, it was called.
Yeah, Indie 103.1.
Rolling Stone called it the hippest radio station in the country at the time.
Wow.
Damn.
And we were amped and charged, but the morning guy was like, they're telling me that the traffic report, and I go, now where is that? I go, it's a very famous highway, Dicky. It's weather. I couldn't do weather. I was telling you it's raining in Boston, and I didn't pick up the phones for the first 2 weeks because I was sure people were out there like furious, like, this guy's giving Red Sox scores. His accent is out of control. And I knew if I picked up the phone, it was like, and if it was the other way around, if an LA guy came to Boston, and picks up the phone and like, yo, dude, what's that? Get the hell off the air. All right, we're coming down there in about a half an hour. We don't give a shit about LA. So one day I go, hey, let's answer the phones today. And I pick it up very cautiously. Like, hey, bro, been listening to your show. Love the Boston stuff. Really, tons of positive, like,
awesome.
Like, I'm sorry, it's all I know. I don't know anything else.
How long did you do that for?
2 years, a little more than 2 years. And what happened was the station started getting popular.
Big, I remember that.
Yeah, and it started like they started to believe their hype, and like, we can compete with
K-Rock and stuff, yeah.
And once you start doing that, K-Rock says, no, you can't. Smack you down.
Mm-hmm.
But so they started programming the music, and in hindsight, I should have just went with that. But the thing I loved doing was playing, like, Glenn Campbell into Black Flag, into playing H2O and
cool.
And the stuff I loved. But they, there was records coming out, and record companies wanted it on the air, so they started, it's going to be programmed in format. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't, that was part of the passion. As much as I loved the team and the people I talked to every morning and talking to, having people come in and get tattoos. Tattoos Day was hilarious.
It's so crazy, man. It's
if
such
you
a crazy
turned in
concept.
on Tuesday, so you're going around the dial, as all of a sudden you hear from the coil gun.
Right.
Tattooing people.
I wonder how that was even possible, like, to have, like, the health department just doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I really can't tattoo everywhere.
I never checked with anything.
Right.
On Earth Day, this is something I did.
Yeah, it was a different time, yeah.
Check this out. So on Earth Day, I needed a new car. I'd been driving around in something that I bought for like $1,200 in LA.
Sick.
Yeah, and it was a horrible car, and I was like, it's time to get a new car. And then someone said, you should get a Prius. And I was like, all right. And once again, I don't care really. I'm not a car guy. Apologies to the car guys out there, but so I go,
we got no cars.
Okay, Prius. That's Toyota Prius. I'll set that up. I called my friend Ernie Bach Jr. in Massachusetts, and he set something up with Huntington Beach Toyota. Huntington Beach Toyota was. I heard Huntington Beach Toyota commercials on my show all the time. Huntington Beach Toyota. Huntington Beach Toyota. So what I did was, like, I called Huntington Beach Toyota and I said, hey, I'm, my buddy called you, and I'm the guy that's going to buy a Prius, and I want to do it on my radio show for Earth Day. And the guy, are you interested in that? And the salesman was like, yeah, totally. I go, well, what we'll do is you drive the Prius to the station, park it there, come on up, and then I'll interview you all morning. We'll sign the papers and everything on the air. You know, so I'm like killing two birds. Like by the end of the show, I'd have my Prius.
Right.
I didn't want to go there.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And I go, what kind of deal can you? We'll give you a really good deal. I go, great. About 45 minutes in the show, I look up at the door, and all the people, the owner of the station, everybody's at the window, and the salesman sitting next to me is, it's Earth Day. Like I'm doing my part for Earth Day by buying a Prius. Like I'm saving the planet.
Oh, God, here we go.
And then we get to a commercial break. They come in. They go, "What the hell are you doing?" And I go, "I'm buying a Prius on the air. It's for Earth Day, you know." So you do realize that we sell Toyota, you know, advertising. We do, you know, they're one of our advertisers. That this is very expensive. Like I was doing a morning long commercial for Toyota of Huntington Beach. Both worked. They were so angry at me. They were like, "You're out of your mind. You didn't run this by any." I go, "No, I just thought Earth Day. It was a good premise. You know, and really, I was too lazy to drive down there."
Did you get the car?
Yes.
Wow.
It was.
Get a good deal?
The color was hot. Great deal.
Oh man.
They passed the savings on to me.
Absolutely.
I went down. The color was horrible, and it was.
You didn't even have a.
It was
color
maroon.
preference.
They had the one on the lot, and I didn't.
Okay.
They go, "We have a lovely." I don't know what color they were calling it.
great.
All right, what do I care? Once again, what do I care? But my friend Bob Einstein, Super Dave, would always go, "Why,
Super Dave?" Yes.
Wow.
He would always go to me. Who we became good friends because of the Mighty Morning Show. He would come on, and anytime he wanted, if he was in the neighborhood, you know, it'd be like, Dicky, Super Dave's here. Get him on the air and
That's
bring
cool.
him right up. But he would always go, "Why are you driving a purple sewing machine?" He called my car a sewing machine. Why is my life so much better than yours?
Is he still around?
No.
I passed away
wow.
a few years ago.
Okay.
Super
not
sad.
know
Went to
that.
his funeral, and
Damn.
I was really broke. I loved that guy. I loved
He
him.
was hilarious.
Hilarious,
Jeez, man.
but if you knew, he was just such a tremendous dude. You know.
Damn.
Let me pour some onto this liquid death though.
No, pour some on there. Pour
For
some on. Sam.
Super.
Yeah, go ahead.
Part still.
What about you taking Howard Stern's place on WBCN? Is that a rumor, or is that something that was almost going to
I was
happen?
offered that. They were trying to figure out who, when he went to satellite radio, they were trying to fill those markets where he was on. And,
Yeah.
You know, we've got to do something. And BCN knew I was doing the morning show in L.A., and I had a great relationship with BCN, the guys, Oedipus, the guy that ran the station at the time. And they thought, well, we'll be different. We'll have Dicky come to Boston, and he'll do the show. But that means I would have left the Kimmel Show. But it also, you know, as much as I love doing that morning show, I didn't like the idea of thinking I'm going to get up at 5 a.m, scrape my window, you know,
Yeah.
the car may or may not start, drive through the snow, freeze my ass. Like it's a different thing doing that in LA.
100%.
It's getting up at 5 and you're not bundling up, freezing your ass off. And so that didn't appeal to me at all. So I didn't want that. And on top of it, I knew that anybody that replaced Howard Stern was going to be like, you know, you're going to get a ton of shit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that guy, which they did use David Lee Roth.
Okay.
He did a bunch of different markets. He replaced Howard Stern in a lot of markets. And he's got the kind of ego that's like, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Sure.
And that was very short-lived. They even, I think they built him a special studio in New York. And he was all those markets, including Boston. And people were like, nope, not Harvard, not Howard.
Right. Was there an introducer for Jimmy Kimmel before you came on the show? Was there already somebody doing that?
The introducers?
Whatever your title was there.
All
Introducing.
Right, let me help you out here. Because this is something you should know before this. I was called the announcer. Okay, the introducer used to get you and your kids tickets. Dicky's the introducer.
I said the wrong word. I'm sorry. Announcer. I'm sorry.
The introducer.
Well,
There's no such thing as an introducer. Said the wrong word. You might as well call me the cauliflower.
You're introducing everybody. Whatever. My bad.
I'm introducing at the top of the show. I'm going to introduce everybody. Jimmy, I'd like you to meet. Brad Pitt. Brad, this is Jimmy.
That was funny.
Oh, thank you, Dicky, for the introduction.
Who was the announcer before that? Was there any announcers?
They had it was early. It only the show had been on for about 5 months before I came on the air, and they had the staff. Jimmy was looking, and he asked me early on, and the staff was in, tonight, the guy from the props department will be doing the introducing.
Okay.
And then I think Andy Milanakis. By the way, Super Dave introduced one night.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yes. A lot of other shows have announcers, but on that show they had an introducer. You're the best, Toby.
I did not.
Yes, he did. We would cry laughing together. Me and Toby.
If you want to cry laughing, we're getting to the Defiant is coming. Your stage.
When do I get to blow the lid off of everybody who doesn't have a vaccine?
I just want to talk about.
He's sweating. Come on.
I just want to talk about your.
Let's go down the list.
We'll get there next, but
the jig is up, everybody.
your famous stage dive in Clueless.
Dicky's on Toby's show.
Would you like to do? Did we happy with your? The Clueless thing was pretty big.
The Clueless famous stage dive. It's very interesting, and
Clueless,
we've learned,
bro.
We've learned a lot.
That was a big time for you guys. That was '95 too, though. That was a big deal.
That was a weird
Massive
thing.
Movie,
a
dude.
weird thing, and another time where I didn't enjoy it the way I should have. But we were having tax problems. The Bosstones, whatever manager we had at the time, decided not to pay taxes for years, and so it came up, and they were down on us.
Brutal. Yeah, they get
it was
down.
tough, and it coincided with, and this is before, let's face it, so we didn't have any huge, it coincided with Amy Heckerling, who made Fast Times at Ridgemont High, going, would you like to be in this movie?
Wow.
And they were offering us a lot of money. We were offered more, we got more money than Alicia Silverstone for that movie.
Wow.
That's
And I know that because it was a Jeopardy question. Would Boston Band
Wow, okay.
was played in this movie and made more money than Alicia Silverstone? So we got a lot of money, but that money was to pay these tax problems, get the IRS off us, and that's where it went. So, but I don't think, and this is the time of, once again, sell out. Songs weren't just in movies and weren't just in, now they're in TV shows, commercials, everything. It's
for sure.
If I had it all to do over again, I would have sold out a lot more than I did. That America's Funniest Home Video offer we got, I would circle back on that and go, yes. They would get to Funniest Home and I go, yes.
Was it like having like punk
The
rock
Pizza
guilt?
Hut commercial that we passed on, would you like to do yes.
Wow.
But that
Was
was
it like a punk rock guilt
days.
you had in a sense of making money? Or
everything was that.
Yeah.
All the bands were doing that.
Sure.
Neil Young wrote a song about selling your songs to commercials and selling your songs to that sort of thing. You just didn't do it. It just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And now it's, please, how much, how many? Yes, sir, please, thank you. So it's a different world once again. But so Amy Heckerling asked us if we wanted to do the movie, and I'm like, well, Dickie, you got to do something. Management that we had at the time was like, we've got to solve this problem, and this is the answer to this. And I was like, okay, what's it about? Well, it's about, we'll give it to you in a nutshell.
oh my god.
And I'm like, wait a minute, they're from Beverly Hills? Yeah, they're Beverly Hills. They're very wealthy. Yes. They say things like whatever, and high school. I'm like, I barely. Okay, all right. Can I get through this? It's it's not Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, it's very different. There'll be the girl from the Aerosmith videos.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think I can get through this. And
So yeah, you guys are pretty.
coincidentally, where they filmed that, Tobe, and I'll let you finish that question in a second, was right across the street from the OJ trial, which was going on.
Wow.
The very heat of it. So all of that craziness, like the warehouse that they filmed that scene in, you go out the front door, look across the street, and there's, like people holding signs and
Wow,
going nuts
news,
for OJ, like right in the thick of that.
Holy
we
shit.
filmed that movie. So it added to the insanity and Higgs got me a bottle of tequila. And I started drinking that going, because then I started looking at all these extras coming in, and they're dressed in pinks and blues. It looks like your kitchen. They were dressed like that. It was all these pastels, outfits, and I'm there standing there in my plaid suit going, okay, I can get through this. So I started drinking the tequila.
Wow.
And the first thing, the first take, and Amy Heckerling was on a boom chair with the cameraman. She was up there, so filming, this sort of boom shot of us playing, swooping through the room, the extras dancing, and they were confused even how to dance to it. Like, how do we dance to this? And I was like, okay, I'll show you.
Nobody from the scenes, and there's no real extras like that.
Nobody I knew.
Wow.
It didn't. No one knew who we were.
Teach me how to skank or nothing. Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to do that either. I go, you can look at Ben because he'll be dancing up here.
Totally.
Right.
And
follow his lead.
They got the hang of it, but the first take, I go, this is how you dance to it, and I did this massive stage dive on top of these kids who were unsuspecting, in pink and blue sweaters and clueless outfits.
They're probably like, what is he doing?
And Amy Heckerling, is like, people looked horrified, and Amy Heckerling goes, I love that. You got to do that again. So for the rest of the day, I was doing these stage dives
all day.
And as the day went on, and the tequila is like, I was less and less enthusiastic about. Now they're catching me, So now they know what's coming.
Are you not happy
Right.
with the dive they picked?
Oh, go look at it.
I know.
Is that what you're getting
I'm gonna
to?
check it
Yeah,
out
I'm asking if
again.
you're not happy with that dive. When
No,
I
I wilted on them. It was probably take 35.
Oh
It
my
wasn't
God.
It wasn't the monster I first did. And then when I looked at it, I was like, okay, whatever.
Was that movie big when it came out? Because now
Huge.
It's
And when I saw it,
classic now, but
yeah,
Huge.
when I saw it,
what'd you think?
I liked it. We went on tour. We pulled the bus over and we drove into a theater, and we thought people were like, "Oh, the band's here." No one gave a shit. And we watched it, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good movie. But now it's even big. And so, for something like that, does a band like you get residuals from that the rest of your life from that movie?
No.
Okay.
No, we got
Paid once, and that's it. Okay. Yeah.
that went to the taxman.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting movie thing, and I tell this because Derek's here. You might know this.
Okay.
So have you ever seen I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. When they actually do what they did last summer, it's the Bosstones playing. And a song that had never been released, I think it's called Wake Up Call. Like,
Wow.
They're in the car, they're on the windy road, and somebody gets pissed and goes, "Oh, man, let's, put on some rock and roll," or something like that. Switches the station, and it's like us blasting this like deep cut, this B-side really.
Wow.
Of the song Wake Up Call, and they're going through and they're rocking out to the Bosstones, and we're watching this too as a band for the first time on tour. And we're like, oh my God. And and all of a sudden they hit a guy.
That's right.
And that's what they did last summer. And then when they hit a guy, like the sound just stops, and now the whole theater's quiet. And then Tim, Johnny Vegas from the Bosstones, yells out, "The Bosstones did it!" Like, people started throwing stuff at us.
We got your credit for that. Obviously, people know that's you in the movie. Yeah.
I don't know if they know that, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting, fun fact, I thought,
Did you ever?
Story I've never told anywhere.
Yeah.
Saved it for you, Toby.
Thank you. Did you ever do acting too at all? Or no. Acting?
I was a terrible actor. I tried and my hand at it a couple times. There's a few different projects. Something television pilot I did for.
Lifetime, please. Tell me it was a Lifetime movie.
No, I think it was Nickelodeon. I was a bus
Nickelodeon.
driver on this kids show, and I was going to be like the cranky bus driver, and I enjoyed doing that. And then what else? There's another thing I played. I always picture myself like cops and bartenders. I'd be great. Like I think I'd be. What do you have? Sorry, I just slammed your table. What'll it be? Or the.
Was never your thing, though.
Officer number 2, the guy that stands there and writes stuff in a pad. It's kind of what I was shooting for. I couldn't do anything like they'd go, okay. And I was in this other movie, and they go, all right, what you do is you go in, you pick up the phone, you say hello, you put the phone down, you turn around, and then you exit that way. All right, okay, go in, pick up the phone too. I'd go in. I'd be, pick up the phone. Oh, all right. I'd go. You forgot to pick up the phone. Turn around.
That would be take direction.
Yeah, I was horrible at that. I couldn't.
Better as an introducer for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm the guy that couldn't dance, so he got a dancer in his band. So
Yeah.
I'd farm out the stuff I couldn't do.
So you can't dance at all?
Nah, I had I did some skanking in my day.
Yeah. I mean, you got some famous stage dive photos that are on.
I wasn't you for sure. You're a ball of energy up there.
Thank you.
Still to this day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Same thing?
For
Is
sure.
it,
Oh,
Derek?
yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
I can't think of the last H2O show. Oh, I saw you not that long ago.
Yeah.
Last year in
Arizona?
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Ooh. Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after the pod. We'll talk about that after the pod.
Something bad happened?
Yeah.
Did I do it?
No, nothing. No, nothing. No.
Derek knows.
But the hometown
Yeah,
throwdowns,
very good.
those are great too as well. So thank you for those.
You're
those
welcome.
are fucking incredible. Every fucking Christmas, every
Thank you.
year. That was such a big deal at the where's the Middle East, right?
Oh, Middle
Right,
East.
Middle
Wow.
East, move on to
House of Blues.
House of Blues, the big ones.
Big ones. Biggest
Yeah.
one in the country is the Boston one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it started out we had the smallest one, and the first House of Blues, I think, was in Boston, in Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are incredible.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So let's get to Defiant. You guys have your first show ever this weekend at Punk.
I want to
Punk,
pull out
Punk
my
at the
list
Park.
of.
I have your songs too.
I want to pull out my list of guys and bands that didn't get the shot. I thought, hey,
The list.
all right, guys, we ready to go? Dicky, you go ahead. We'll meet you there. No, we're gonna do.
I got the song titles. The record's really good. The songs are super catchy.
You listen to it?
Come on, dude.
All right.
Costello, Pogues. It's got a lot of vibes to it that I love. Obviously, I love everything you sing. I love your fucking voice.
Really?
I've always loved your voice.
Do I still got it?
You still got it.
Thank you.
And there's so many great, catchy songs on there. Like amazing songs. Like
Jenny, can we get Derek a copy?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
would
I
love
think
to
you'll
hear it.
enjoy it. I
Yeah.
think you will.
Dude, there's a real. I mean, obviously, Dead Language is one of the singles that's super catchy, but there's so many good ones on there. As One, like Life Flies, Can't Stop Crying. I want to talk about Can't Stop Crying.
Okay.
So I was listening to the lyrics.
I
of some
wrote
of
that
these
with
songs.
Johnny, from the keyboard player from
Okay,
the
yeah,
Mighty
yeah.
Bosstones.
I mean, there's so many songs in there. It's all super important things that have been going on in your life,
Yeah.
and all inspired by
That's what I mean.
past couple years.
Well, that's how I write.
Yeah,
What's going on? What am I up to?
You've always
what do
been
I
like
think
that.
about?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, what am I going to do?
yeah. But this is super inspired by a lot of things.
Early on, poetry teacher, very early on, Mr. Powell, Norwood High School.
Shout out to Mr. Powell.
Right about, Mr. Powell was tremendous, and I could do 2 hours on Mr. Powell. But he actually was never my English teacher. But he found out that there was a kid in the high school that wrote poetry, and he
Okay.
came and found me, and he was an inner city guy that was teaching school, and it looks like a after school special. Hey, kid. I hear
Got
you
talent.
right. I hear you right. We're both in the smoking area.
Both of
We're in the smoking area.
That existed in
He
schools.
he pulls a cigarette out of my pocket, lights one up for himself. I hear you write poetry.
You got talent.
He-
Pure talent.
I've read
Way to
some
go,
of your
somewhere,
poems.
kid.
Yeah.
But you.
What is it? Dude, I'm just trying to have a smoke between class, all right? Don't come down on me. I don't need another. You're not even my teacher, man. Fill these books with poems. Don't stop writing. Now, the actual story, and when I make the movie, that's what it's going to look like.
You need a movie for sure,
Mr.
dude.
Powell
You need a fucking
pulling
doc.
a cigarette out of my pocket. And then packing them. Old school, the Marlboros pack.
Wow.
Slapping them on his head and pulling one out.
My mom did that my whole life. Dude.
Yeah, pulling one out without touching it with
Just
his
have it in
fingers.
the movie, please.
He puts his mouth-
If you do make the movie, please have them be like Newports or something.
Virginia Slims. You're
I
right.
hear you
Derek.
write poetry. Hey, keep it down, man. I got a reputation. I don't write poetry. You didn't hear that, dude. Mr. Powell.
But you did write poetry.
Loved writing poetry.
Starting what age?
Writing, I always kind of consider myself a
Wordsman.
Yeah, blacksmith.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would, hammer words together. And what's the best way to say this, and what's the best way to write this, and is this the absolute best word? And back then, doing that was way more difficult than it is doing it now, because back then you would do it on paper, and sometimes you go, I've written this thing 500 times. I do not want to rewrite this again. Right. All right, but I know this is all right. I'll do it again. But now it's just like cut, paste, delete.
It's
right on through. Yeah,
notes on your phone, all that stuff. But you had like notepads, you had all this booklets and shit.
Tons. He gave me a handful of those blue notebooks. Those, I don't even know what they're called. Composition books. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny. So that's you started writing.
Danny Goldberg composition books. All right, now who is the singer of the Rolling Stones?
Oh, man. That was
Stumped her.
O.J. Simpson.
Stumped her. Anything. Now, next time you talk about O.J. Simpson, are you going to mention that Clueless was filmed across the street?
You're going to have to.
Right.
Jenny's going to have to do that, yeah.
Differentiate between criminal and civil.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was I at?
You were at the criminal trial in downtown.
And you were at civil.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Different ones.
Yeah.
Yes. No one heard that.
So you would be writing your whole life, always. That's been your whole thing.
That's what I love doing, writing and drawing pictures and those things, and assumed it would be a huge waste of time. And now I draw a ton with my kids. I love doing that, drawing pictures with them.
What kind of stuff you draw? Like just
whatever comes in my head. Usually if it's a holiday, we got to do St. Patrick's Day pictures. Like it's some sort of
Do you save
tradition.
all those to like put a book together someday,
I actually
maybe?
posted some not too long ago on the Dicky Barrett Instagram.
Okay.
Of the kids. Yeah, I save all the drawings. I mean, I haven't lifetime saved drawings. And if I did, I'd probably have to get a second house because I just constantly drew pictures. And
Wow.
Yeah. And I think I went to school for it, like I said earlier, Bunker Hill Community College, and realized that I was probably a better art director than the actual artist. Like, I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, the Boston Strangler's nephew.
No. But you used what you learned in college throughout your career in music, you think? Some of that stuff stuck with you for sure?
I learned a lot about typography, and I learned about fonts and lettering and that kind of stuff. And designing whatever the Bosstones record covers looked like, I played a huge hand in all of that. And
the artwork and designs too, yeah.
Love it, yeah.
So the new record. So obviously that's inspired from the past couple of years. We were talking about Jimmy Kimmel. You lost that during all the mandates and stuff.
Yes.
And then
how many loose ends did we leave on this podcast?
No, not many. This is good. I always tie it back up. I bring it back. I'm professional. so we're bringing it. We're bringing it back to that. So then the band too.
You're professionally, kid's in here in his underwear again.
No, he's nice. We're in fucking swimming trunks.
Snacks.
But Dicky, around that time that everything happened with as far as losing the pandemic stuff, is that when the band dismembered on the same time as the TV show too as well?
Yes.
Because the world was shutting down.
You want to know the button on that story is, so now Disney is involved.
Yeah.
I got to go. I can no longer announce. Pardon me. Your son's distracting me. It's about to make a peanut butter sandwich. Looking for the butter knife. Dad.
Actually,
Dad, I left a knife right here. Dad, can I have some of your orange juice?
Nice, get the fuck out of you the podcast. Dicky Barrett waited 4 years for this. And here he is. You don't get no peanut butter.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm starving. Thanks, Dad.
Sounds about right.
So
wait, Dick, were you living at home? Okay, I forgot to go.
So yes, so that happened. So now it's sort of public. Why is he no longer introducing on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show? No disrespect.
Yeah.
So he goes. So that was made people uncomfortable. And once again, if I'm asked, I'm going to say why. It coincided with being involved with Bobby Kennedy, who heard that happened, and we reached out to each other and we talked and everything. And he said, "Could you help me create a song for this rally and it's based on
defeat the mandates."
Yes, and it's based on a old Crosby, Stills, Nash song that he wrote the lyrics, and all I did was put together musicians to create this song that he loved. And Higgs made a video for it, Mark Higgins. Another common thread we're weaving through this long podcast. If we still have anybody listening, thank you so much.
This would be your best podcast right now. People are gonna be psyched on this. So don't
Thank
hate.
you so much.
I love you. Go ahead.
Do you think they'll like the part where Max comes in?
Yes, they'll love that because
Definitely
it
that part.
happens every fucking episode. Okay, guys.
Without a doubt.
So that happened. So I create the song and create a relationship and a friendship, and he was happy with the song and he used it and everything. But then he started getting slammed with all these accusations and people who didn't know him or know what he was about or know what he was doing or know what was going on, even in the world, was just like, he's dangerous, and so's Dicky, and I got thrown in that. And at the time, there were members of the Bosstones that didn't want to be any part of that, and it was public. And I wasn't doing anything as a representative of the Bosstones.
Representing yourself.
This was my life, and that's what I was doing. So, and it felt good and it felt right. And did I want to not for the Bosstones to end or for it not to be? And did I say over and over again, hey, this doesn't need to happen? This is going to blow over. Time's going to go by. But
which all of that did.
It did. And, I will stand by my choices, and I will, and I firmly believe the choices I made were accurate and correct and certainly right for me. And I think, and I strongly believe that people should have the right to choose what they want to do. And I think almost whether you got it or not, we're all on board. And that's all I've ever been saying, is that these are choices that we should make. You were never preaching about like, fuck you for getting it or fuck that person. This is what you were doing. No. And I didn't want to say do this because I'm doing this on anything. I didn't want
your
that.
Personal
the
choice.
Verdict was not out. We didn't know what would happen. We didn't know what was going to go down. And I didn't want to, so I didn't want to say, I'm getting this, so, you get it too. I didn't want to pretend I got it. I didn't want to, and I also did, these are my choices.
You felt strong enough to speak about it publicly and let the world know, like, this is it. This is me. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it would have got out anyway why you got fired from Jimmy Kimmel, however that went down. It would have got out anyway. So now it's like, okay, this is me. This is what I represent. And
well, that's, but that's been my whole life. I don't pretend, like none of the things I said on any of the albums, the things I said, I thought about, I believe in. I wasn't just pretending to be anti-racist. I wasn't just pretending that, it's all about unity. I wasn't just preaching and pretending, let's get together. It's about love. Take care of each other. It wasn't just, dribble. Or I thought about it. These are the things. These are the values.
Very inclusive, and I felt that at all your shows, and all your fans felt that about the Bosstones too.
That was the idea. That's the idea about the new band too. Is the time for division. We can't be divided. Us being divided is exactly what they want. Once they, fracture and fraction and split us and divide us, then they can control, and that's the game plan, and it's always been the game plan. It's if you got 50 people, 50% of the people thinking this and 50% of the people thinking that, then you can control. Because at any given time, you can say, all right, and accommodate these needs, and that's the whole idea, is end the division and stop. And it's never been, and it's gotten worse since. There's never been a more divisive time in history, as far as I'm concerned, and we need the messages and that the Bosstones have been talking about now more than ever is get together. No, we're not, we're not enemies. We're all on the same side.
Yeah. Especially now, in a couple of years have passed too, and the world's open and things are different and all that. And is there a chance for the Bosstones to ever be together again?
I don't, I never say never. I don't,
It was really sad here. It was an emotional day for me. We were calling each other my band because how much we love you and your band, and just to it was sad, man. The whole world was sad. Obviously, you heard the news, but I feel like people that love your band because it's been such a part of people's lives.
Well, thank you for saying that, and I was sad too.
Yeah,
but that's how it had to happen, and people felt that way, and I felt like it didn't have to happen, but I think that it did happen, and whatever. And of that came this.
Yeah,
so,
your new band.
And I'm enjoying doing that, and it's another experience. And if you made it your way through the entire podcast and listened to all the different things I've been through, it's
totally.
It's another step on a really crazy sort of ride I've been on. And
Yeah, is that interesting? Writing after all these years with one band, doing a whole new band, like this stage in your life, and rewriting songs with new people.
super interesting, a lot of fun. Felt kind of fresh and felt like but writing Bosstones songs, was writing with different guys. And so I'd write this with Lawrence, and I'd write this with Joe, and then wrote these songs with Nate. So I was always kind of working. I needed someone else to write with all the time. These are my words, and how are we going to put it together with music was sort of, and I like, co-writing. I like,
Yeah. So this is going to be your first show this weekend.
Yes.
Wow. And there'll be tours to come and everything around this record? You trying to do like touring?
Absolutely, yeah.
Full touring?
Stormy's doing the booking.
Shout out to Stormy Shepherd. We love you, Stormy. That's awesome.
Shout out to Stormy.
She booked us for like, Rancid got us a booking agent. We had
you got the booking agent now, dude.
We do.
You've got the guy.
But let me say something with Stormy.
You've had some great booking agents.
We did have her, but
You
Stormy
did.
booked us off her 2-song 7-inch that Rancid said, "Yo, book this band," and we had nothing to tour on but 2 songs. She did her best for like a month, and it didn't work out. But I love you, Stormy.
You never circled back?
Nah, we went to Tim Bohr, then other ones after that. It's
Yeah,
just
let's name them all.
No, I don't want
Let's
to.
go right up now. Who's booking
But
you?
we had your agent for a second too back then. Amy or something took over for us
Did she?
because we worked with you guys. She's like, I'm gonna help out H2O, and she's like, "No, I can't handle these guys." But yeah, but no, shout out to Brad Wiseman right now. Yeah.
Okay, so who else does he have? I heard he picked up a new.
Come on, go ahead.
I heard he picked up a new artist.
Go ahead and say it.
he's talking to Mr. Feldman right now.
Oh, really?
Not John Feldman, Corey Feldman. Yeah,
Corey
he's talking to him. I don't know what's going to happen.
Not
but he's talking
Feldy
to
from
him.
Goldfinger? Oh, you mean Goldfinger?
No.
No.
Corey Feldman.
Stand by Me.
Yes.
Stand by me,
Yes.
Corey.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Yeah.
By the
Great
way,
actor.
the guy's a
Yeah.
great actor.
So,
Fantastic.
how's the response been with the Defiant?
People seem to like it,
Yeah.
and the ones that don't, I don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Who
Well,
cares?
I think that we've made the record. It's hard to deny that it's not good. I think
It's
that
great record, man.
There's really good songs, and that's sort of where we got it. It's like Johnny Rio
Yep.
from the Street Dogs.
Yep.
Joey LaRocca from the Briggs. Greg Camp,
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth wrote the monsters from Smash
He
Mouth.
did?
Yes, he wrote the big ones.
Hey, now you're an all-star?
That
Get
was
your game
his.
on?
That was his.
Wow.
Okay.
Damn.
All right.
My daughters love that
From
song.
Shrek.
Yes.
It's a Shrek movie, dude.
Yes.
That's sick.
And Pete Parada,
Yep.
drummer for the Offspring.
Yep.
Todd's band.
Yep. Not Todd's band. Todd's in that band. Let's get it
That's
correct.
Todd's band. Uncle Todd.
My brother never wrote one song in that band. Just so you
That's
know.
his band, dude. It's Dexter.
Out crowd.
It's
That's how I see
Noodles.
it.
Out crowd. It's Todd.
Yeah, that's how I
Dexter,
see it too.
Noodle, and Todd.
When
Big
people ask
three.
me about,
Derek.
I'm sorry. I
What's
just
wrong
like
with
when
you?
I see people, they're like, "Yo, I know that guy's band. That's Todd's band."
It's the furthest thing from his band. H2O is
Toby's-
his original band. H2O, he wrote those songs. H2O. He wrote no songs. in
Outcrowd.
Offspring. Outcrowd.
Early days.
That's pretty sick though.
Yeah.
So no more suits. So this is
No
Defiant.
more suits.
No for stage. So this is just
I might wear a nice jacket, Toby.
That would be nice.
yeah. I was
Thank
gonna-
you. Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
I'm
Derek.
talking about Defiant, but
Respectable.
in reality, your style has always been, even since the Bosstones, you've always been
Horn
a stylish
section.
guy. No, you've already been a stylish guy, like in
Dancing
life.
guys.
No, none of that. But I'm saying the way you
Even
dress.
sitting in your kitchen.
Yeah, you look fucking great. Yeah,
Oh,
you've
you.
You've always had a style, but also I know.
You'll see the grumpy photo of me and you sitting on the stairs.
But also, I've never seen your hair.
that looks great.
I've never seen your hair
Never
like
got a
that in my
hairline.
life. I've never seen a hair like that the whole time I've known you.
I let it grow out.
Yeah, it's a different. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
a
don't
new
have to be on TV.
It's a new chapter for you.
It's an older chapter.
No, but you have great hair.
I was going for mod. Like,
Okay.
You think it?
You're gonna push it down the forward in the front a little bit.
I tried that in a
I
photo.
I did see
It
it.
looked like a hairpiece.
Dude, I saw the photo with your hair. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I've never seen you have hair down there.
Yeah.
And
You're
you
jealous.
have a great hairline. Yeah,
You're
you have a-
jealous.
Yes, because
You've
I have,
always been
I have
jealous.
hair envy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
He
incredible
does.
hairline. You have great hair.
Toby went bald when he was 13. He really did. I remember you all the time going, dude, my hair.
Well, my hair's here.
Right.
I've always had a widow's peak. My grandfather died with widow's peak.
Yeah.
My friends told me I was bald, so I shaved my head for 10 years with a Bic razor because they told me I was bald. Shout out to Sick of It All for that, breaking my balls. We've always had good style. Anyway, so I'm the Defiant on stage.
Say mad style.
Mad style.
Mad.
These guys got mad style.
Yeah.
So you're not rocking.
Make it
hats on
more
stage.
Toby.
You're not wearing like suits on stage and none of that shit. So we tired.
I
Different
don't know
chapter.
what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
I've packed a huge
Are
suitcase
you
that's
conscious of
sitting.
that? Do you bring a lot of clothes like in your suitcase?
I think of it because people kind of expect, like, when they go out there, this Dicky was going to wear it. It's very fashionable. It's Bosstones suits.
So do you think about that in reality?
I think about it a lot, and I always have. And there's that, Laura, Ben's wife, the dancing guy from the Bosstones, Ben Carr.
Shout out to Ben Carr, man. Amazing dancer.
Shout out to his wife, Laura, as well. She was the wardrobe gal for the Bosstones.
Nice.
She put stuff together, get stuff, and
Interesting.
anything I dreamed up, whether she thought it was a good idea or not, she'd be like, "You sure?" And I'd be
Wow.
like, yeah, she would come up with it and put it together. It was a lot of fun and working with her and getting all that stuff done.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you did step it up, and let's face it, you guys had way more nicer, maybe like name brand suits.
I think so. Yeah, we weren't just whipping stuff off the rack, we also weren't in a van and like driving all night in our suits, sweating after a show.
Did you go to a bus on that record? Or
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think maybe before it we had a bus because we were out with you and that record wasn't out yet, right?
Dude, going from a van to a bus is fucking amazing, man. It's
It
a
is.
game changer.
Yeah.
Like for sleep and all that.
Yeah.
This is a random question.
I'm back in the van, by the way.
That's sick.
Back
Back to
in
your
the
roots.
van.
I like that. Get back in the van, bro. Do you ever?
I'm actually putting the gear in the pickup truck I drove out from Arizona.
did?
In. Yeah.
Did you ever do vocal warm ups or ever lose your voice?
Sometime, yes, and yes, but not enough.
Because the drinking and
nothing.
smoking probably didn't help your voice.
Wasn't good. Wasn't a great idea for the kids out there who want to.
It's not a good combo.
But it
No.
also kind of made your voice cool in a sense. I'm not saying that caused it. You've always had a dope voice.
Yeah.
But
People like it when it's beat up. They do. They like the early stuff.
but you would lose your voice on tour, maybe.
The one time it was a New Year's Eve show at Toad's Place.
Toad's
Oh my
Place,
God.
And this
Connecticut.
I think it was like the first year back from the hiatus.
Okay.
So we're playing, so we booked, we just did the hometown throwdown, but at the Middle East, so that meant 6 shows.
Wow.
And then the
Yeah, in a row.
7th, then we were going to go down to New Haven, Connecticut, play Toad's Place. And on the drive down, I couldn't speak. And I'm like, I don't know if I have a thing. I
That's
could
scary.
talk kind of in a
Damn.
low
It's a scary
voice.
feeling.
Yeah.
I would try to do any of the songs, and then it was sort of billed as like Chris Rhodes was from New Haven, Connecticut, so we called it like Rhodestown Throwdown. And
Yeah.
Happy New Year's. I went out and said Happy New Year's Eve, everybody, and then basically just kind of handed the mic to the front row.
To sing the whole set.
Did some conducting, did some danced a little with band. Went back. I was kind of like Max in your kitchen. Went back, made a sandwich, came out. Somebody was up. Gave somebody my jacket. Here, you wear this.
That's the best thing about punk rock, though. You can always get the
Oh,
mic out enough to sing if you don't.
Anybody at that show would be like, "That was the greatest show ever, man." When you couldn't sing,
Yeah.
like, it was a nightmare for me, dude. But okay.
Are you nervous about your first show with Defiant?
Now I am. Thanks for the pressure, dude.
I'm sure you're gonna kill it. But
Yes, I am. It's
Yeah.
also I haven't done a show in a while.
yeah, what's the last time you've been on stage with a band?
Also, there's going to be people out there go, "We hate you."
They're like that. Any
I
fuck
don't
them. It's like that.
think
Any
so.
band. Every band gets that.
Bosstones never did.
Maybe online, you don't know. Who fucking knows, man?
Strong
You have
words.
yeah,
Jeez.
that's strong words. But that's the deal with the internet.
It's like,
Everybody
you
has
haven't
an
even seen
opinion.
us play yet.
But
All right, give us a song. All right, we'll give you a song.
when's the last time you were on stage?
Toby, life's a stage for me, my friend.
But last time playing live
I
music.
feel like I've just been on stage for the last 2 hours. Say it again.
October
October 13th.
October 13th.
That was the last show.
Yes.
What year was that?
Where was I?
Highwire.
Oh, in Highwire. Yes, we played on the Highwire October 13th with the Defiant. But we've also
Okay.
played in Nashville together.
Okay.
We've practiced. We sound good together. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
the songs
Yeah.
are really great, really catchy, and it's a solid record, man.
All right. I don't want to disappoint you, Tobe. We've been through a lot together. No, I'm not kidding.
No, it's really
I'm
great.
serious
No,
when I
no.
say that.
Dude, you've never made a record that I don't think you made a bad record, unless you think you have one in your career. Is there a record that stands out
and
to
then
you?
you'll say it.
No, is there a record that stands out? You're like,
No,
oh, that
I love
record-
them all.
That's what I'm saying.
I love
yeah,
them all.
man.
And that's the way we thought about it. That's the kind of band we were. The way we worked was, these are a collection of songs that are going to live together, and this is the statement we want to make right this minute. So I think a lot of times people assumed, the majority. We have a core fan base that actually investigates every record and listens to it. So, but there's a lot of people that go, I heard the Bosstones. I don't need to hear this. And assume. But we've never been doing that. We haven't just been making Let's Face It over and over again.
No, you haven't.
We try to kind of reinvent the wheel, or make things sound different or explore stuff, because it just wouldn't be fun for us.
Yeah.
For me and Joe to do it that way, and that's the way I've always operated. So with this new thing, it's like you can't kind of write it off. You can't just go, it's just going to be another Bosstones right now. It's like, all right,
It's
now
all brand new, everything. Yeah,
all brand new. So it affords me the extra listeners that are going to go, well, before I hate on it, I should at least hear it,
right?
And then
I hope they will.
And then once they do.
Did you feel pressure after Let's Face It to make a hit record because you had that success?
I didn't feel the pressure. There was pressure, I guess,
from the label.
I didn't feel. I think that we got very kind of comfortable and used to going. We're going to make the exact record we want to make, and we made Pay Attention, and we made it in made it a farm out in. Somewhere on the New
farm?
York. Yeah, it was this pretty famous farm that Rolling Stones made records at and stuff.
Who's the singer of that band?
I don't know. Check with my publicist. I don't know. No one important.
That's going to be the thing for now.
Oh, yeah.
Dicky, do you have any major regrets in your life?
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I didn't sell out the way I should have. Thank you, Derek. America's Funniest Home Videos.
I think he should have been in comedy. I think Dicky should have comedy too after this.
Still can. Still
it's not too late. What can I do?
That's true.
I kind of look at it like I'm on complete borrowed time, and I've gotten so many chances, and I probably shouldn't. I've gotten way further and past, and I should have never really been on TV. And what's this guy doing with the hit song, and why? So it's always kind of. That's how I feel, and no matter what you say,
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I feel like and I think I've written it in lyrics, but so anything I get that comes, it's all gravy, it's like I've had a tremendous time, a tremendous life, and enjoyed every single minute of it, and this is a blessing. I'm working with, that lineup is insane. Those guys that go, yeah, you're still worth it. Yeah, you're still. We'll include you in this very talented group of guys. Yeah. By the way, Todd's the one who gave me Pete's number.
Nice.
And I just call Todd, and he's like,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
we're all family, man.
It's complete family.
We're all family.
Love that guy. I had such a great time. When I saw him in Phoenix, and he played with H2O at the show. So you're going to tell me the whole story of that after.
Yeah.
But it was also your anniversary, right?
Yeah, my wedding anniversary. I got remarried, and you were there for that. Thank you.
Right.
The most incredible moment that night is we're all standing around talking, and Rusty talks really whispery like this, and there was a ceiling fan above me, and Dicky goes, "Yo, dude, can you at least talk above the sound of the fan?" Because he was talking so low like this under the fan. You couldn't hear anything about it, though. Also, Force Field. You sang on a song that never been performed live on an FTTW record in 1999. You came out, you sang on it in Brooklyn. Brett Gerwitz was producing it at Coyote Studios.
Faster Than the World?
Yeah, it's an amazing song, Force Field. People love it. And that was such a great moment to have you part of a record, man.
But
on the first record.
Also, H2O covered the Bosstones.
Yes, we did.
You did. And released it.
Yeah, on our covers album, yeah. We did an okay job for you.
Tremendous.
Thank
it's
you,
awesome.
Man. Thank
unbelievable.
You.
Well, the thing about it is,
and that's a hard one to do, man. I forgot what song.
I know you didn't pick an easy one.
I
That's
know.
for sure. It's like, but you killed it. And the thing you can hear on the track is how much you guys love us. You can feel it, like these guys mean it, and that's the.
No, we fucking love. I've always loved you. You've always been a great friend to me, my band, my family. You've always been a real one. You've always been yourself 100% through and through, and I admire that about you.
Thanks, Tobe.
I
feel the same way about
you, and you
rocker,
know that. Man. You're a true punk rocker.
Thank you for saying that.
With great
Some
hair.
people are trying to take that away from me.
Doesn't say that to everyone on the
and
show.
Nobody can take. Nobody can take shit from you.
Yeah.
When you say people, you're talking about strangers on the internet.
I don't know who I'm talking
and anybody's
about.
saying shit to your face about anything you're doing. Nobody ever will. And that's the reality. What's on that phone is different than this conversation, like what you see in life. You can get so much love on Saturday or whatever show you play because people love you and respect you. The internet shit is a bunch of fucking jealous, bitter, hater trolls.
Are you going down to the show? Are you going to be in, are you going down to Orange County? Are you going to Pennywise?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. There's a bunch of things happening this week. I always double book myself.
Yeah, you do.
I double book myself and I run myself to the ground, and that's what my son does the same thing.
He does.
Yeah.
Surfing.
Like me.
Surfing and women for that
And
guy, right?
Surfing.
Is that the deal?
work,
And skating and modeling and working and all that shit.
He's got a model, right?
He's doing
He's doing
he's doing
it.
it now. He's
What
doing
about
it now.
acting? Can he act?
He wants to take classes now.
He's in the town, you know?
Yeah.
If
He's
you
in-
live here and look like that, you should be acting, I think.
What was your last real
Right.
job you clocked in with a boss?
Let me just ask it. Who, you're a handsome guy, and Uncle Todd is certainly a handsome guy. And
He's
but
got way better hair than me, yeah.
And Moon's attractive as well.
Thank you.
Does she? Are there good-looking people throughout the family and on her side too?
That's a really great question, man.
Think of it.
I mean,
It's a great question you don't want to answer.
my mom's beautiful.
Nope.
My mom's a wonderful looking woman.
Yeah.
My dad, who I'd seen only a few pictures of, was a handsome.
But all kinds of
1950s.
trickles down to Max, right? He's got movie star good looks, right?
He's got that Morse gene for sure. He's got I would say more Todd's good looks than mine, but yeah. Todd's the most handsome out of
Todd
the
is
three
pretty
boys.
handsome, I'd have to-
The women used to call Todd God back in the day.
Wow.
Did they?
Yeah.
Todd God.
You know what?
Tom was getting lots of praise.
You know
on
what the
this
women used to
episode.
call me?
I know,
What?
Dickie.
That's a great name, though.
That's just I don't know.
What was your last real job? You had a boss. Clocked in.
Probably Jimmy.
Oh yeah, it's a clock in.
You got to go
Yeah.
that.
Right.
That's true. That's a real.
And a great boss. So, no, but I can't think that. But 9 to 5.
Yeah.
What was I doing last? Gosh,
Before
moving
that.
furniture maybe with
Wow.
John, with a moving company with Johnny Gatchis, keyboard player for the Bosstones. He's a good guy to move. He's about your size, Derek.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
big guy. And
That's probably it, right?
there was that. We in Boston, like as kids at that time, we were like hacky carpenters and stuff, and would destroy your roof. And you couldn't really get up there.
Get wasted on the job.
Triple deckers, you couldn't really check the work out, and it's like, all right, time to pay us. We're out of here.
Are you a handyman now? I know you live in Arizona.
I got some skills, but not nothing that
How come musicians can't fix shit? It's so weird. Like
I
I'm
can.
always hiring people. You can fix the sink and shit like that, plumbing and stuff like that. Or
Yeah, I take it to a certain level, and then I call somebody. But
are you watching like YouTube videos how to fix things?
no, I just go with the skills of enemy. But
It's acquired over the years.
yes, that I've put to slap together.
And you love Arizona?
I like being there. I'm
It's
enjoying
crazy.
that. My
It's
kids
East
love it.
Coaster living there. It's so
Yeah,
interesting.
My
it's
kids love
very
it, yeah.
interesting.
I've
Imagine
learned.
that.
This is the thing I've learned, and I thought, I can't live anywhere but Boston, and Boston proper in the city. I thought, and then I bought a house outside of Boston and the country, 40 miles from it. I was like, I can live here. Then I had to move to L.A. to do the TV job, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't live in L.A. There's no way. I'm Boston. And then I can do it here.
Did you love Cali
bet.
when you lived here?
I enjoyed it. The whole thing about it is I'm okay inside myself. You can be anywhere
That's not-
if
that-
you're okay with who you are inside.
That's a great point, man.
And
Yeah,
once
that is.
you learn that, plus, if you live on a tour bus with 9 other guys, but plus because there's a crew on there too.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
In a coffin style, bed,
true.
night after night, rolling to another city. You can be anywhere.
It's a good point, man.
Yeah. So once I figured that out, it was like, yeah. And I can always return. And, my mother lives in Boston. My father lives in Boston.
How old are
still.
they now?
They're old people.
And they're doing all right, hanging in there.
Hanging in there for sure.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I know you're just out there visiting too much long
I
ago. Yeah.
go and watch Celtics games with my father.
Oh, that's
and
amazing, man.
Text during through every Celtics game. And
That's
he's
fucking
thrilled
awesome.
about the season. He still is insane about Boston sports, and he's old as dirt.
But there's like this Boston pride thing that's so different than anywhere in the whole fucking world. It seems.
It really is. It's
Like,
almost
more than
embarrassing.
but like
Yeah.
every fucking team, dude.
Yeah.
Patriots, Bruins. So I know you don't like because he's a sports guy. I don't care
I
about
know.
sports.
Yeah.
But
Like, there was
that
such
was
this
one team
pride.
that I
Red
actually,
Sox.
for some weird reason, since Cleveland didn't have a hockey team when I was growing up, they did have a hockey team called the Cleveland Lumberjacks back in the day.
Did
I don't
they?
know what happened.
Was that an NHL team?
It could have been for a minute. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I know
Be
that
a
they had
badass name for a team.
It's
The
amazing.
Lumberjacks,
It's
right?
the Lumberjacks. But
I want to
it
get
was
a
like-
Lumberjacks.
I don't remember singing
shirt.
the Lumberjacks in Cleveland, but anyway,
That's a hard name.
my team was the Bruins back then. I was in 4th grade, and I
Damn.
Who was on the
Loved the
Who was
Boston
on the
Bruins.
Bruins at the time?
Jesus
You were in
Christ,
fourth
that
grade.
is a good.
You got a good memory though, Derek.
question, though. Who was the player that I was just like gravitating to that was on the Bruins? Jesus Christ.
Was it
It's
the
gonna
Big
drive me
Bad
crazy.
Bruins? Or,
That was in 83.
so you like Ray Bork and those guys and like.
Oh,
I'm
man,
gonna say
have to look at the roster.
I'm gonna throw a name
after
right
this.
now.
Okay.
I know nothing about sports. I
Here
know
we
this
go.
one name.
Oh my God.
It might be as bad as introducer.
Is it hockey? Or?
Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr was
Bobby Orr.
tremendous.
Yes.
Greatest hockey
Massive.
player of all time.
Bruins?
Some say.
Was that right? Bruins?
Bruins, yes.
yes.
Number 4. Huge. He was from the Big Bad
Boom.
Bruins. 1972, and at
Wow.
that time, I was 5 years old. I could name every Bruin.
That's probably why I have in my memory from growing up in there. You know, I have my memory
Yeah,
randomly
yeah.
and shit.
Bobby Orr was from the Bruins. That's that famous picture of the guy like airborne. It looks like a stage dive, Toby.
He's a legend.
And he's got
man.
the scores.
I seen ones like you went to like in a Converse ad doing a stage dive or something.
We were in a Converse ad. Yes,
wasn't stage dive
selling
shit.
sneakers. And Larry Bird did a Converse commercial in the same campaign. Larry
Wow.
Bird, Bernard King, another New York Nick.
That's incredible.
And the
man.
Bosstones did the Chuck Taylors, but Larry Bird did his whatever they were called, cons. They call them weapons.
I never would buy those. I was like totally like I'm not down with it.
You didn't like the Converse?
Wow.
I didn't.
I like the
Jeez.
Converse over Nikes. I know you're a Nike guy, right?
But the Converse on stage for that many years must fuck up your back.
not the
like-
not the
Not the.
tennis
No,
shoes. I like the
okay.
Larry
Basketball,
Bird shoes.
yeah.
I like
Okay.
the leather ones.
But even you jumping around all these years in flat-footed like shoes, you guys had style, but not. it
Ben's
was
knees
fashion
are
over
a mess, by the
function.
way.
I'm sure.
No, the sneaker company said, "Hey, do you want to be in this commercial?" And we said, "Yeah, we want to." We were kids.
You
we were
rock
just
Chuck
little
still for
kids
sure.
at the-
Converse was a shoe, yeah.
Yeah, they
Think about the
gave us-
Ramones. All they wore was Converse, jumping around.
Yeah.
It's just crazy for your knees.
Do you
and
want to
your
know
back.
why I prefer Converse over Nikes?
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. And do you call it Nike or
Yes.
Nike?
Yeah.
It's called Nike, Dicky. Yes.
We always called it Nikes.
It's called Introducer.
Nike.
Introducing Nike.
Introducing.
I knew if the
Nike.
show went on long enough, you'd get me back.
I got you. Go.
Always called them Nikes. Nikes or Converse.
kinda
But
hard.
anyway, so there was a billboard in our neighborhood in the lofts where we used to live, me and Joe, and bands would play there, and we lived in these warehouses basically. And on the weekends, the companies that actually heated the building, like the people, the manufacturers down on the first floor, would shut off the heat, so we'd be freezing till Monday morning when they'd come back and go to
Wow.
work. So we were basically using their heat, but we lived in these because we could practice and play, and other bands lived there. And on the end of the street, on our building, they had a huge billboard. And at one point, they put up a swoosh, the Nike swoosh
It's the logo.
logo made out of sneakers. And we were like, oh man, the whole billboard for the sneakers. So we could just walk down the roof to the end of the street and climb up onto the billboard. We go down there and get ourselves some sneakers.
Oh my.
At middle of the night, we're up on the thing, pulling shoes off the thing. It was like,
What?
yeah. And every single one of them was a left foot. Couldn't find a
Figures.
match. Couldn't find a right foot. And I'm like, these cheap bastards.
They would put pairs up there. What sizes were you? Remember, probably it's all different sizes.
It didn't matter what size
that's
because
why
I
you
could
don't-
only get 2 lefts.
And that's why you didn't fuck with Nikes because you
I
couldn't
was like,
steal them.
I was so mad that they took the time to like, well, somebody's probably going to try to steal them, so
Absolutely.
let's fuck them up and just put lefties up here. So from that day on, I was Converse man.
Damn.
Man.
What's like a daily ritual for you? Because I know you gave up coffee,
Daily ritual.
'Cause you're like
I
a-
got the kids.
but you're on your black tea.
I make a cup of black tea, then I make them their breakfast. Then they go to school, and then there's soccer, and there's
All that.
all kinds of stuff.
You're
you know,
involved
so
in all the
one's
activities.
yes, and miss them. I've been away from them now for 9 hours, and I miss them.
I love that.
And
Do
my
people
kids
recognize you in
and
the,
my wife?
in society, like normal people, like civilians? Like,
Sometimes, every once in a while, and whenever they do, when the kids are around, this is what I do. Hold on, kids, kids.
watch me get my props.
Somebody recognizes the old man. Kid, Liliana Clement, come here. Come on.
Recognized.
And they come over like, oh, he's doing this again. So what do you want? You want a picture or a autograph? What do you, fans, kids, fans of the old man. One time we were in not too far from here. We were at an ice cream store in Sierra Madre. Up having ice cream. It's me, my wife, and the 2 kids. And somebody walks by the window of the store. and I kind of notice him. We're sitting at the only table in the ice cream parlor in Sierra Madre. And then all of a sudden he kind of like moonwalks backwards.
Double take.
Comes back and looks. And then he does a kind of a swing around and comes through the door of the ice cream store. And I've got my eye on him because I'm with the kids and the wife. I'm not thinking much of it. Then goes up to the counter. And he starts to like look at the flavor and starts to, and then he swings back and like on me. He's like, "Dude, I saw you in Florida in 1995.
Do you remember me?
It was the great. It was the good." And then of course I go into my kids. Hey, fan, 1995. Huh? It was the greatest concert ever. I've been a huge fan ever since. Can I please get a picture with you? Sure. And the kids are looking at him like. Looking at me, looking at him, and like, really? It's like he's like the fourth most popular member of the family. Okay, so we'll get a picture with the old man. Yeah, I always make a huge deal.
And the kids have seen you play before?
The kids love it. The kids were on, Liliana was on Jimmy Kimmel Live with us one time.
Wow.
When we did What the World Needs Now Is Love.
Yes.
Yeah. And
what kind of music they into?
What do they like?
Taylor Swift?
It's weird. My teacher has a guy who loves 70s music, which is
That's cool.
what I love too. But her teacher, the older one, her teacher plays the band for the kids. So she's coming home to me is like, do you know the song? Do you know the song "The Wait"? I'm like, by the band? And then I give her a huge hug. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You like Robbie Robertson, the band.
That's awesome.
They all different across the board. You know, they like the soundtrack from Frozen and the.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
That's a huge.
But Taylor Swift's like
huge.
queen for everybody. Since kids,
and Encanto.
They turn you on to stuff like, oh, this is all right, or no?
No, not that much. You know, not so much. Yeah.
No, listen to the poppy stuff now.
I can't. The new Taylor Swift song, I can't. Yeah. Oh, that sounds great, kids.
Fuck, man, this has been great, dude.
It's been awesome, Tobe. I love you so much.
I love you too,
Words
man.
cannot explain. And
I'm so happy we did this, dude.
But you know what the thing about it is, Toby, if we don't see each other for a year goes by, a couple of years goes
That's
by,
real friendship.
It's real friendship,
100%.
and it's always like that. Last time I
Always,
saw
dude.
you was probably
Arizona.
Arizona,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right, but you know, there you welcome in, family, all that.
It's always been like
it's been that way.
We've been brothers since we met, man.
We hit the ground running. We pulled up. You
You've
know,
always been a great human in my life and my family's life, and it's awesome to have you here finally in my kitchen. I know you don't like doing podcasts and talking, but you have a great record out right now.
I put it off for so long. It's like,
that's okay.
You must have been, heart must have been broken.
It's okay.
Like, this dope is
I know
doing
how to deal with it now. I don't take anything personal. People are busy. People don't like doing podcasts, but you're promoting a great record to Defiant.
I just said if he
That's
gets
why
the
we're
right
here.
co-host, I'm on.
Boom.
Always
He even know
That's what I was waiting to hear.
Love you guys.
He didn't even know I had a co-host today until I fucking saw him.
No, I've been listening all along. I've been to every episode.
Let me make sure I fucking have all my shit. You're not listening to new bands and shit, like new hardcore, but do you listen to new music? You pay attention? Not really?
Not as much
The
as
scene
I
is
should.
thriving. The scene's crazy.
Is
right
it?
now. It's thriving, right
It
there.
is?
It
We
is.
go to all kinds of shows.
Is it sanctioned? Are you giving it the okay?
Dude, it's
definitely giving
it's
it
the
the
most.
okay.
It's
Yes?
everything bands sang about.
Who do you guys tour? Who does
actually
your
happened.
band tour with?
Um,
Do you guys pick the openers?
we
Good question.
That is a good question.
Probably not, because I never play with them.
Well, well, we have that
would
whole
you
thing
consider
with,
the Defiant?
I mean, we're
Exactly.
just, it depends on. They give us a list of bands, and a lot of times I'll go through the list.
Yeah.
A lot of my bandmates aren't really in. They're just like, whatever. We don't really care.
Is there democracy? You get to actually all choose the band?
I mean, a lot of them don't. They're
Yeah.
just like whatever. But I mean, back in the day, we really picked the bands that we wanted, and nowadays, like you said, it's like I don't know who's new or whatever.
Right.
So we go with we kind of trust our management. They're like, oh, this band would be good. But now I'm really into trying to pick out the bands that I want to tour with. So
Yeah.
That's cool.
And bands that I've seen that we have some type of connection. So it's a mix.
I'm going to get my bands on that list.
Oh man,
sure.
Our drummer would be so stoked to tour with you.
He probably he probably loves your
tore
drummer because
up.
he's got an incredible drummer, man, in the band.
Yeah.
He would love it.
But I like seeing band, like a mix. I don't like.
And
to
I don't
tour
say
with
that
metal.
like I wouldn't. I would hate it, but my drummer would. Be a nightmare for me, dude. But
I love your
I
honesty.
didn't mean that. I did not.
I do love how diverse your bills were.
Yeah.
And it kind of opened my mind in a hardcore band to play with more diverse bands because of opening up for you and to win over the audience who knew nothing about us. I love that challenge.
But you already had that in you. You were A to Z. You're the guy that proudly loved Madonna. There's no shame. There's never
Thank you.
I mean, when you came to see Justin Bieber,
for my son, because you wore a shirt.
Yeah, it was for
he
him.
was a believer. He was a believer. Yeah.
But he was a believer. But
He was a believer.
but you also said to me, dude, he's good.
Yeah. Got good songs.
You call it what it is.
I have a
and-
Katy Perry tattoo. I love all types of music.
He wouldn't have gotten to where he was if he wasn't good.
No.
Honestly, I mean, he's extremely talented.
Now we're talking about Bieber.
And he was a nice guy.
Yes.
When he come through that show.
The
Yes,
Beats.
man.
I've
Super nice
Only
to
heard
your
good-
kids.
Grew up
and
on
some-
YouTube, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Very.
You've met a lot of people coming through Kimmel, too. You probably maybe opened your
Met
mind
them
even
all.
more working there, meeting other people from diverse parts
It's
of
true,
music.
but I think we'll put that in part 2.
No, for sure. I know.
I think once we
No, I
start
know.
talking about Justin Bieber, we've run out of things to say.
You brought it up.
I didn't bring up the Beats.
I did.
Yeah, your son's a believer.
Yeah.
That's all
Let
we're
me say
saying.
one thing then. There was a moment on stage during Kimmel. Prince is like an arm away from my wife. My wife is reaching out to grab Prince's ass. I told her. And we have a picture of Prince from behind. Rest in peace, Prince. I have a tattoo of me on my ass. I love you, Prince. But my wife was going to pinch his butt because he has such a cute butt. But we have a photo of Prince on stage from behind. It's pretty
Can I
sick.
see that?
Scandalous.
I want to see that, and I want to hear about what happened in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We also
Jenny
gotta-
Wyman, thank you for being here. I fucking love you. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
The
Jenny.
best. Rolling Stones #1 fan. And
The band, not the
we
magazine.
covered everything. So the Defiant have an Instagram. They have a website. They can contact you. You respond to people.
Yes,
You can get
Yeah,
merch.
get merch.
Do you respond to
Okay.
people on social media through the accounts? You talk to people.
I do. I do.
So you're active on there, so people can
I'm
reach out to you if
active
they
on
want.
there. I get on there. Yeah.
Good.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
There was a moment where and I never care if you ever follow me again. Back in the day when I was on Instagram, Dicky said, I was following you, kid, but you post too many sneakers. I don't care. I don't care about your
Well, see-
sneaker connection. And that was back then. That was way back then. Anyway.
But you laughed.
I know. I love you. You're
Yeah.
my brother.
But now that you know, because of all those left foot sneakers, why I don't want to see all those Nikes.
The Nike hate. Oh, well, that's a question. Do you have an Impact Unit tattoo?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
somebody emailed me. I said you're going to be the part. Ask him if this is a true story, if he has the logo tattooed on him somewhere. Yeah.
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, I love you.
Love you too.
Bye. I've always loved sweets. That's why I have 1,000 gold teeth and had cavities my whole life. But I always love cookies. And being a vegan and being gluten-free, it's extremely difficult to get a cookie that actually tastes good. Most of those cookies are super, super dry. Until I found Maxine's Heavenly. You probably see me post about them. They're incredible. They're gluten-free. They're vegan. They're made with no refined sugars. You can get them in Whole Foods, Sprouts, Walmart, Amazon, Maxine'sHeavenly.com. And if you're in LA, you can get my favorite restaurant, Green Table's carrying them. You can also, if you're in LA, get Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Chow Now. Super, super great company. Amazing people working there. The cookies are insane. I can eat a whole bunch of them, not like you're supposed to, but I don't feel groggy and like bloated and I have that sugar crash. And every month you should sign up for the mailing list because every month you get exclusive flavor drops and the cookies get delivered right to your house. So shout out to Maxine's Heavenly, my new sponsor. I have a cookie sponsor. I can't believe it. How old am I? I'm 53 and I'm promoting cookies because I love cookies still. I'm a big kid. Vegan, gluten-free, no refined sugars. If you listen to the Travis Barker episode, me and him talked about our love for Maxine's Heavenlies as well. Great cookie. If you're a vegan and you're gluten-free, there's no other cookie to have. Maxine's Heavenly. Go to MaxineHeavenly.com, go to shop, use my code OLLC, and get 25% off your first order. That's 25% off your first order. Go to MaxineHeavenly.com, use my code OLOC. Enjoy. These cookies are straight crack. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details of anything that was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance Podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done, 100 locations, US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology, cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.